right, and the rest of you.
Perfect.
Wait,
Introduce yourselves.
I remember you. You were hanging off of the back of the carriage that one time.
Hmm. You were being quite conspicuous hanging off the back of the carriage that one time. I also seem to remember some grave robbing, but it seemed consensual, so.
Oh man, that's right. Like, oh my god, I forgot to thank you, my dude. Like, that lady's leg is doing a lot better.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear.
There's one thing I would like to correct you on. I was not hanging off of anything. I was lying down on the back of the carriage.
Hmm. Yes, you can understand that given your arrangements, I felt either would work.
So anyway, like, new faces.
Yes, I don't know the rest of you, I don't think.
Then what do you use your brain for?
You're too hostile, man. You need to like just tone it down, dude.
Huh.
Well,
That
I
was
suppose
hostile. It was meant to be a joke. Huh.
I suppose introductions are in order anyways. Sir Guy with the mantle at your service. It's actually Asian wizard and a mountain dwarf with hammer in hand and in case things get up close and personal.
Sergiak, you said. It's a pleasure to meet you. Suppose I should introduce myself as well. My name is Jack Reed. Something of a sellsword, mercenary. You need the job done, I get it done. Sort of individual. Happy to meet you.
Likewise.
And you over there. What is your name? If you don't mind me asking.
Is that me?
Yes. Amelia.
Can we call you Bioma? Nice.
I see.
Wait, does that mean like you're good with weapons, or like you're a fist wizard?
Ah,
Are you a bard?
sellsword after my own heart. Well, in any case, it will be good working with you then.
But as you guys are in camp, as we'll see a green-robed figure, rushing, or not really rushing, but more like casually walking towards you guys. And as he is before you, he kind of just does a little bow. Nice to meet you all. I assume you have answered the call or have read the posting on the board.
Yeah.
We did indeed. It sounded rather fascinating, so I figured why not join and see if I could lend what assistance I can.
Quick out of character question. This map looks oddly similar to the Monster Hunter map? Question mark?
I wouldn't know. It's the world map of our world, so it's what they are using.
See, that's what concerns you, not the fish that's the size of a friggin' island.
If it breathes, he can kill it. Once he's strong
Theoretically.
enough.
No, this is the map of our world. On world.
Have you never seen a world map before?
I only remember seeing this during the monster hunting campaign, of which I only attended one.
Makes sense. Not
Ah,
many people have this.
yes. I remember seeing that. That's the, who is it? Lord Gnome or such was posting on those. I mean, makes sense.
Yeah, I think Quash was the one running those.
Yeah.
That after going to one, I kind of felt like I wasn't really a fan of how he was doing things. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get that it's like, primarily one monster that we're facing at a time instead of like a bunch of smaller, less dangerous foes. But oh my gosh, the constant stress.
Let's.
Scared of gray hair?
If these monsters were
Oh, I'm
basically
already getting some gray hair. I don't gel well with something that as part of its mechanics has the constant looming threat of death from being like two shot, one shot if you're particularly unlucky and particularly squishy. And Cillian's kind of squishy. So yeah.
Well, if these monsters were based off of the ones from the actual Monster Hunter games, I can't say I blame you.
In any
Uh,
case,
Between you and me, I'll stick with
In
the
any
Monster Hunter
case.
games.
Let's not go off topic. This is another game we're talking about. The green road figure will kind of just bounce that. Perfect. If you are all the ones that have answered the posting, do follow me and do humor my mistress. But with her entertainment, she gets bored sitting in the scriptorium all day.
scriptorium.
Huh.
What is Cryptoria, member?
Not quite. I am more or less a humble servant for them.
Isn't the scriptorium where all of the wizards and book nerds are at?
Correct.
Yeah, man.
That's my understanding as well.
Well, I myself am a member of the Scriptorium, so I would have to say thank you.
No
I
mention
mean,
it.
no insults, of course. There's certainly a place for knowledge on the battlefield and in any variety of missions that they might provide.
None taken, I was simply taking your words in good humor.
I'll take a sword over a book any day.
I appreciate your assumption of good intent, sir. Now, where is this airship? This sounds like an interesting venture.
You see Braymond bring out a scroll. It's just catered to be used automatically upon here. As you will see a miniature portal. It's about the size of like a gnome. Do be careful going in. It's a little crowded. You see him kind of just crouch down and just walk through the very small portal.
Noted.
Oh, man, I haven't walked like this since I was a hatchling.
Well, in we go, I suppose.
When in water deep and all that.
It would probably be best if we do so single file.
Yeah, y'all might want to go first. I'm worried my shell might catch the edges a bit.
We're just following Raymond. We're, in theory, going to a safe place, so Jack will just go in. He's not waiting for other people.
As will Sorgayak.
Overk just heads in wherever there's a spot for him to file in.
Ella goes in last just to make sure her shell doesn't catch edges and plug up the line.
She is the wall.
5, 6. Yeah. As you guys enter, you guys are immediately hit with a gust of wind. As you guys have realized that you're not on solid ground anymore, or more specifically, you're not like on the earth. You guys can hear like the sounds of just the wind rushing through your ears as you guys realize you're not, of course, on the earth or on the ground near the earth. You're on the sky already.
What?
Ebon!
Ah,
So
I
we-
guess they already got the airship off the ground.
I was going to say, so we're we look about, we're on the airship. What's this
are
airship
now
look like?
on the airship. The airship looks like it has two different sets of thrusters to the left and right, which have mounted very large ballistae. And most of the crew you can see is manned by skeletons and appear to be, how do I say,
I've heard of a
rogue
skeleton crew,
maidens?
but this is
Breaking
ridiculous.
up. Yeah, you look like you. Yeah, it sounded like you were breaking up on us.
But it was mostly just you see the crew is just a skeleton crew. It's manned mostly by the undead, as you will see the same green robe figure as well as the a very I wouldn't say exposed, very dressed woman as she turns around. Ah, they've arrived. Thank you for
Oh,
bringing them, Raymond. He was just nod and stand by his mistress.
I will take it that you must be the one who had called for the assistance. This must be your airship. It's,
But of course,
Eleanor, was it?
yes, Eleanor Specterlick, representative of the construction bureau for the Bright Dawn, temporarily.
A pleasure to meet you, ma'am. I must say, you've taken skeleton crew quite a bit more literally than I would have expected.
Yes, but it's a lot easier to tell people what to do when, well, they don't really have a mind of their own and how to do it.
Yeah,
I suppose that's quite fair.
Well, the skeletons are at least intelligent enough to know how to handle siege equipment, so I guess it was not too big a stretch edge of the imagination to think they could figure out how to operate an airship like this.
Speaking of siege equipment, are those ballista on either bow? Seems, well, I don't know. They seem a bit oversized for a vessel such as this, especially one not tethered to anything.
Probably
No,
just
they're
in case.
more or less mounted onto the side battlements themselves. As you will see, that upon a little bit further inspection, the ballistae are bolted down to these sections, as well as you can see that the large ballistae bolts are attached to a chain.
Surely, though, with those kind of chain attachments, striking something even significantly smaller than this that's actually grounded must cause quite a bit of sway. I can't imagine you'd pull things far at all. No offense, of course, or merely observing. Is this untrue?
Oh no,
They're
the
probably more
chains right
intended
there are
for.
meant to, how do you say, pull us closer toward possible
Ah,
other threats.
I see. An intentional
Well, either
use
that
of.
or reel the target in.
Oh, if it is, if they are not, or if the either creature or heavens forbid another airship is lighter than this airship, then they'll be pulled in, or lighter than the ballista themselves, I would say. But if that is not the case, then we will be pulled toward them, so that we can board them or in a swift fashion.
Fair enough. Now, if I remember correctly, the mission statement said something about points of interest to be explored.
Ah, yeah, there was a certain ruins nearby that I wanted investigated, though I didn't want to impose on higher skilled individuals for such a menial task. Although there have been sights of some dragonfolk in the vicinity, not quite sure.
At the mention of more highly skilled individuals, Jack will raise the eyebrow that's not covered by an eye patch.
You know, people that would probably ask for way more money than I would be able to part with.
An economical decision. Well, I suppose that is fair.
Yes, there have been signs of some dragon folk within the vicinity. Though from a bird's eye view, she kind of just looks down. It doesn't look like they're there anymore. So where they gone off to, I have no idea. My skeleton scouts aren't exactly the most perceptive of people.
Or talkative, for that matter, on the general.
Yeah, that's fair. We should send whites next time. Oh well.
Now, I do apologize, but we were magically transported here. How far are we from our destination?
We're about. And she kind of just looks at a map, kind of just traces it. And not one for me. Sock, get over here. You will hear a very stubby and old dwarf coming up the stairs, back kind of breaking as he's just. Come in. Read this map for me. I'm not one to read maps. I just drive this thing. She goes back to looking at the view. Oh yes, yes. All right. We're about. I see. He looks at the map. About a mile or two away from the destination. It's not that far from the camp. Just a set of ruins, nothing more.
Hmm. And why was the airship needed for this expedition, if you don't mind me asking?
What do you mean? Of course it was necessary. It'll get us there faster. It's definitely not as useless for trying to drive it.
I see. Well, in that case, I look forward to our arrival.
And she'll just nod as she'll hurry downstairs. Now, I'll be driving this thing, so I'm going to need quite a bit of concentration. Try not to disturb me while I'm doing so. It's quite a ordeal.
But of course.
Ella leans into the group and kind of waves Jack over and she's like, man, I'm just really glad she didn't ask us to like heal the crew or anything, man.
That does seem like quite the task to put before us, if that were the case.
Healing spells would probably damage them.
It's entirely possible. I've heard of such things in tales of old.
True enough.
But after about 10 or so minutes, the airship reaches its destination and it is lowered a bit to the ground as you guys can see the earth much clearer now. See forests about and a very small river, yeah. Right next to the set of ruins. You will feel the airship stop in motion and just start hovering. You can hear the propellers underneath. You'll see the turbines have stopped basically blowing. And she will come back up and resurface with luck. Alright, we have reached our destination. She'll bring out the small scroll. Now, I can transport you all down there, and my servant, he will he'll be there for whenever you guys need to, or whenever you have finished investigating the local area.
I have a quick out of character question.
Sure.
Would it be possible? It's like, would the ship be going too fast to be able to use spider climb to go to the underside of the hull and to look at things from down there?
It wouldn't be hard, but if you wanted to go to the underside, you could have just went through the stairs.
Well, yeah, but the view from the outside of the hull is different from staring out a window. Much more panoramic.
Well, so long as you don't let go
Just don't jump.
or jump.
Oh no, not at all. He would just head to the underside, stand like right around the middle of the center section of the center part of the ship. Just full vampire thing standing there, arms crossed, staring ahead and slightly up so that he can see the ground above him.
Gotcha.
I must ask, Lady Eleanor, there are no means of boarding and unboarding from the ship through non-magical means.
Oh yes, but I'd have to ground it, and I'm not confident in my parking yet.
I see. Well, by all means, then.
This way is a lot more predictable, and for me in this case, until I get more of my bearings. I mean, I definitely know how to drive this thing. I just drove it here.
That you certainly did.
Fair enough. And perfectly reasonable. Although, first time landing this ship would probably be best done slow and steady.
And not over your local area, or the area that you're investigating, so that I don't disturb any of it.
If I may suggest for future use, rope ladders can be quite handy on large vessels like this.
As you see Eleanor taking notes, rope, ladders. Gotcha.
Yeah, that does make sense. Easy to unroll when you're throwing them down, and fairly easy to pull them back up again.
I'm not sure of the dexterity of your crew here, but maybe more efficient than spending the resources on teleporting them here and there.
But of course, this is just a temporary measure until I am a bit more comfortable.
But of course,
Oh, not daily delay too long. Those ruins aren't going to investigate themselves. She will read the scroll as a very small, again, gnome-sized portal appears. As she kind of just looks at the scroll burning up. I swear she's doing this to me on purpose. Alright.
who is making you these portals, just out of curiosity?
It's a certain celestial from the Imperium. She's kind of, this is her, how do I say, economical version of a very powerful spell. It just makes it smaller.
Well, I am merely a dabbler in the arcane, so far from me to judge.
Personally, I think this is more along the lines of someone's idea of a joke.
Probably. Well, I
But
shan't
either
keep you
that or
waiting.
the celestial responsible for giving her these scrolls is disturbingly into short people.
Well, everything is small to her. Anyway, I shan't keep you waiting. And she will
So it's
hand
time to go.
Raymond the other scroll. Yes, it is. Do be careful while you're down there. I don't know where those dragon folk went, but just watch yourselves.
Can't be worse than a bit of wind burn from the underside of the ship.
She goes back into the underside with Zonk.
Oh, powered. Wait. Oh.
No, she'll come back up as you're saying. What was that?
All powerful lady, do you happen to have any temporary buffs which would aid us in our quest?
Oh. Well, I guess I could do that. And she'll just look at her spellbook. Not quite, but Raymond, you have more of that. That's not my job. As a Raymond will just say, "Oh, right, of course I can." Silly me. Of course I can do stuff like that. You will see him undo his like a couple things in his book. Kind of just rewriting a couple things. Alright. I'll have to ask 4 of you to write your names in this book.
Alright.
For what purpose, if I might ask?
It should stave off death for a moment, should you be near experiencing it.
Seems to me those of us with healing magics and similar effects may be better served by this.
Yeah, man, I'll write my name in there. Sure, it's Olo Wanaquan.
So one overcorrect their name. Anyone else?
I might as well. And Sergei promptly writes Sergei Wickmantle all in the second slot.
Olo.
Jack Reed in a flowing common script.
Wait, Jack, say what?
He's got very pretty penmanship.
As you guys write your names, except for Olo, who was last, because he can only fit 4 names in the book currently. That is what you have. You have. Whenever you drop to 0
Oh.
hit points, you will be brought up to 1 hit point.
I thought Olo already signed. Jack would want the cleric person to be in that book. He would hold off if that's the case.
Okay. He can just erase the name and then have Olo in its place. Erasing's easy. He has to ask people to write the name.
Thanks for the salad, man.
Well, let's see how low can you go. And with that, Sergei promptly proceeds to limbo through the portal.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. And
What's
as he says
limbo?
that, Overk draws his weapon, crouches low, and leaps through the portal blade first.
Always so dramatic, that one. Jack will just walk through after.
I mean, it's a gnome-sized portal, so he's going to have to duck real low.
Oh yeah, he's going to crouch.
Raymond just gets on all fours and just crawls through. He's like, damn it.
Yeah,
Screw
Olo
these
drops on all
portals.
fours and does the hatchling walk.
The portal closes
I
behind you
mean,
guys.
if Overk was the kind of character to be extra, he would have just bent at the knees, everything but his lower legs horizontal to the ground, and just walk through like that.
The insinuation that Overick is not constantly being entirely extra is amusing to me.
He is never actively being extra. There can be times when he's being extra and he's just not aware of it because he's just who he is.
Just so Jack Reed doesn't feel left out, Raymond will also cast Death Ward on you.
Oh, well, my good sir, I do appreciate the gesture.
And I'll mention it, as he also casts Death Ward on himself.
Okay, here we are at these ruins. Is there anything of note to be seen here?
Upon this scene, you can see just normal passive perception. Quite a bit of decayed and old stone carving. Let's see, Sergaic or Sergaic. But you have stone cutting, right? There we go, that's better.
And
The
that's
guy
by
can
far the best
easily-
roll of stone cutting I've made in ever.
Yeah, Sargaic would be able to notice immediately upon, like, just a moment's glance that most of the stonework here is of dwarven make. Old dwarven make. So unfortunately, you cannot determine what clan made this stonework, but you do know that much of it is very refined and polished. Probably in its glory days, but right now it's still decayed. But you can see how precise the stone carving is.
Oh, it appears that these ruins have been made by the local by one of the ancient clans of my own peoples. You can see the meticulous work they've put into it, even in its dilapidated state.
Yeah, man, this thing used to be pretty, like, swanky.
Leave it to the dwarves to make a long-lasting monument.
They
Well,
are
we
known
dwarves
for
are-
that.
Yes, we make it a point to make our structures long-lasting and as well as beautiful in our own fashion.
You've certainly seen quite a success here. Do you know, by chance, who more precisely made it? Any information about them?
Sadly, I am unable to recognize which of the clans Anza was responsible for the creation of this marvel, but, well, I can't say that's too much a surprise, as I've learned since joining the Bright Dawn Guild that we appear to be a bit of a multi-planar guild, if you catch my drift.
Ah, yes, I've heard as much as well. Well, is there Raymond, yes, is there an entrance to this thing that we're supposed to be exploring or just surveying?
Surveying the land, from what I know. If there's anything hidden, me and my mistress aren't exactly looking for it in particular. If you guys do find something, though, do let us know.
Well, I guess that means part of our investigation will be actually looking inside the ruins themselves.
So, like, what was this?
Old dwarven ruins? Not quite sure which clan was responsible for
No,
their
no,
make.
no. I meant, like, was it like a temple or like something spoopy?
Out of curiosity, do I have that information with the 24?
You would. This place used to be a... Let me see. This particular place would be a storage area. Or it would be constructed in such a way that it would be a storage area.
Looks like it might have been.
Warehouse, yeah.
Looks like it might have been intended as a warehouse and outpost.
Quite elaborate for a warehouse.
Out of curiosity, where's the nearest mountain range?
Be west of you.
And how far away?
Quite far. Like a couple 100 miles.
Though I must admit, this is a rather odd place for dwarves to be building a warehouse. Usually we'd be doing that closer to a mountain, preferably under it.
And perhaps it served its purpose for resupplying those away from home.
Yes, that would make sense.
Always gonna start climbing the steps. We should see if like anyone lives here, man.
Or at least if we can find an entrance.
Give me 1 minute or two. I'll be right back. Someone's calling me.
You.
I finally found what I guess you could consider a proper Japanese sword spear, and apparently it's called a naginata.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those and seen illustrations of them. Heck, they're actually a staple weapon of one of the heroes of the For Honor game among the samurai.
Makes sense. You have your naginata for your more mid-range combat. Your I forget what it's called, a tanto or just regular katana for your short sword for melee combat, and then you've got your bow for long range combat.
Yeah, with For Honor, the four starting heroes of the samurai faction are the Kensei, who actually swings around a nodachi, which is basically a massive two-handed katana. the Orochi, who uses a standard katana, the Shugoki, who is swinging around a kanabo, and the Nobushi, who is wielding the naginata.
I believe the Odachi, or Nodachi, as it can also
Ah.
be called, would be the Japanese greatsword.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. Now, Lean, maybe I misheard you earlier.
Mhm.
Are we going into the temple, or are we searching the area around it?
Searching the area around it.
I thought so. So, in that case,
Or you can go
Oh.
into it. Nothing's stopping you.
now,
Don't stop me now. I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball.
now, Raymond, you say we're supposed to search the area around here. Is there a particular direction we are supposed to head?
No, we should be in the area already. As he looks at the map, I believe.
So we're just looking around the immediate vicinity.
Yes.
Seems a bit aimless, but fair enough.
Well, I mean,
I don't blame you.
she did kind of want to know where like those Dragonborn guys went. So like,
If they've been spotted in this area, perhaps we can track them.
Oh, frick. You can see some wear and tear of recent activity. Probably from the dragon folk that Eleanor and Raymond have reported before.
Does it look like they've been actually doing anything with this warehouse?
You're not sure.
that's why I'm like trying to go in, man.
We might as well get it over with.
Let's see if we can find any script or something to give us an answer as to who built this and why.
I mean, Jack's just going to walk around the whole thing looking for a way in.
Yeah, what I was doing.
It could either be the entrance to an underground fortress or a dwarvish cult that wanted to create something meant to bring about the end of the world. Standard stuff.
Or a warehouse, like our guide just informed us.
Or that.
Alright, roll me perception with advantage. Or investigation, whichever one it is.
Who?
Anyone.
I imagine all of us.
Oof.
Well, I suck at both of those, so...
Whoops, I don't know why you get that.
You got so mad at your low roll, you hit the temple.
You say that, and then I get nothing but low rolls.
At least one of us did well.
I got to wound up with a 22.
Well, I mean, if I get to roll with advantage, I did a lot better.
I mean, hey, someone had to have the high roll.
As you guys are looking about to the ruins of this old dwarven warehouse, Sergaik and Olo, you'll be able to spot a couple of sleds that are like out of place on this centerpiece of this very large platform.
Clever. I'm gonna go in there
What
with
do you
a
think?
press
Hidden
and pull
entrance?
on them.
So this was probably it. More like a cut or what you guys would probably assume would be like a lid all around it, or like an indent on the sides of it.
Hey guys, look at like this weird indent.
Hmm?
Yeah, like it kind of like goes around the whole thing.
Perhaps that is our interest. I didn't spot anything around the perimeter. Give me a moment.
Either that or it's a very oddly designed chimney.
Jack will produce a crowbar from his pack. So, who wants first crack at it?
I'm not the strongest.
Well, that means we'll give it a go.
What's Sergei's strength?
He's got 16 strength and proficiency in athletics.
Oh, same as Overk. Okay. He would
And now
look
with a
over at
crowbar, he also has advantage.
Sergei and offer to help with that.
Agreed, let's see if we can crack this sucker open together.
Right. We'll decrease the DC in doing so. Oh, roll me athletics with advantage.
The dice say no.
Considering how the large lid is constructed, it's not like a very slim stone slab. It's a very thick stone slab, so it takes quite a while for you to at least just move it, and just so you guys could like see what is going on here. But you are able to move it as you have an opening enough for a 5-foot hole, enough for any of you guys to move out, and you do see it goes down as there's a ladder right next to it.
It appears this was indeed the entrance.
I guess I'll give it a shot first. Although we'll very tentatively place her foot down on it and very slowly let down her full weight because she is very heavy. She is 456 pounds.
Overk will reach out to place a hand on her shell and say, "Wait. You'll want someone down there to catch you just in case. Let me go first."
No. You said that last time. Oh,
And I'll
God.
do it again. Besides, which one of us can literally walk on walls? Be reasonable.
I am, man. Listen, I don't think my doctoring skills can peel you off the stone one more time.
Fine, but I'll hear no complaints about cracked shells if you fall.
Yeah, fine.
Right. That's as over goes down. You can see a very long hallway. Actually, like at the bottom of it. It only goes down about 40, 50 feet. Not that far.
Hey, it's supporting my heavy bet. Y'all are good.
Well, in for a copper, and Jack will follow.
Overk will follow behind Jack, and rather than taking the ladder, he will walk down the wall.
Sergei will descend down the ladder.
As you guys descend the ladder, you can see the same scene as Olo does. It's a very long hallway. It is quite dark.
Mm.
Some of you cannot see.
Does anyone have trouble seeing in the dark?
Dwarves are naturally inclined to have dark vision.
Yes, Stampiers are the same way.
No, hold on. I got this, and I cast light.
Right, you now have a light source.
So is this a Theater of the Mind thing, or is there a map that we're walking into?
The hallway is theater of mind. There is a map you'll be walking into.
Neat.
Homa, was it? Can you see well enough in the dark?
Yeah, I got dark vision.
Right. Well, if we're at one light source anyway, second won't hurt. Jack will take out his long sword and touch it with a hand, and he'll cast light on that.
Yeah, man, it's all coming together.
As you guys descend, or not descend, but move forward, if you do. At some points during the movement forward, you will hear the sounds of talking, maybe no draconic.
Yeah, Alma does.
Right, you'll hear kind of garbled, like speech in draconic. Like, why are we just sitting here? We should be in there trying to open that damn vault. What do you mean? Just to make sure no one actually gets in here. All of the doors are closed for a reason. Still, and Grodd wouldn't like it for us being late.
Anagrad, okay. Yeah, it looks like, sounds like there's guards posted, and we don't seem to be invited to the whatever party's going on there. I heard something about a vault, and then a man named Inagrad.
Oh man, treasure.
Or any number of other things.
A trap.
Perhaps both. Still, guards to stop us, but we are here to explore a job to job. Least we can do is introduce ourselves. Yes.
Yeah, man, I'm good.
And if they respond to our introducing ourselves with violence off the bat,
Well, then we are ready for it, as any good mercenary should be. Now,
true, we did catch wind of their ranting before, or actually laying eyes on them, so we won't exactly be caught flat-footed.
Those with dark vision should proceed first. The light will give us away.
uh, Jack should have dark vision, but I still see nothing.
I see a
Uh,
grid.
Oh, it's because I only heightened the map a little bit to further. You hear it to your north. That's about it. Right. Trying to be somewhat stealthy. Roll me not perception, stealth.
Sure.
I am terrible at that.
Everyone?
I am okay.
And I said you will not be seen.
Everyone, and I'll take average.
God tier roll for heavy armor.
And you want
That
for
is
strike as
sweet.
well. Sir Kaik, I also need a stealth roll from you. There you go. Just all needs to be 28, 10, 16. Your passive stealth between all of you is 12. You'll hear them still talking amongst themselves, just complaining about their work here and why they're just standing here doing nothing when there's obviously no intruders coming in.
How tall is the hallway and room space?
Not that big. They're like 5 feet. Or not 5 feet, 10 feet.
Oh,
It's made for dwarves, so they don't need that much height room.
Ulrich's still going to walk on the ceiling.
Okay. Yeah. I believe you can see one. Doesn't notice you guys.
Wanna continue to eavesdrop?
Still though. And this is one of the dragon folk talking. So though, Innergrod is very impatient. She always likes having more valuables added to her collection. Still though, no intruders. We're just here to be with that What was his name again? What, you forgot his name? It's Grodian. You know, one of our servants. Well, servant, quote unquote. Really, he just gives her whatever they find. Or we find, really. It's better than being burned or cursed. Or, better yet, eaten. That's fair. So those notice you guys.
What are they saying?
They're talking about. They mentioned another individual named Grodian.
Does that name ring any bells?
No.
They said they're waiting for intruders, but it's pointless because nobody showed up. So that means they haven't noticed us yet.
They both sound to be Dragonborn, yes?
Not too sure. They don't look close enough. Like, they don't look slim enough to be Dragonborn. They look too big.
But they do look to be the same race as each other.
They look to be the same, if anything, similar to each other. Classifications as much? Probably not.
It seems unlikely that we'll be able to pass as guards or something similar.
Hang on. Are we looking at a pair of half dragons here?
Dragon-ish creatures. In any case, without a clear alibi, I say we enter into some more forceful negotiations right off the bat.
I would like to ask one question real quick, just in case, because I know there's been the occasional lighting issue with some sessions.
Mhm.
Are there any branching hallways that we're supposed to see, or is it just this one hallway right now?
From what your perspective, this one hallway.
Okay.
So, violence is an answer? Yes?
Hmm?
And Jack will stow his sword. All right then. 3. Is everyone ready?
More or less. Sir Guy
1.
says as he begins fingering the arcane orb he's got dangling from his beard.
All right then. 1, 2, 3. And yeah.
Check. Move forward. Since you guys are now in plain view, they will kind of just look at you guys. They'll kind of yell out in Draconic halt. They point their very
I mean,
really
we
made
had just
short swords at you guys.
we had decided, I think, that this was a we come in, we clean room, we clean house. So that was
Ah.
not a run in and wait to see what they do. That was a run in, shoot first, ask questions later.
Ah, okay. That makes more sense. Alright, then it'll be right there first. Then it'll be initiative.
Aww.
Well, if we're just
I
firing out first, I
mean,
guess that means since they didn't notice us before we started firing, you
I
mean that we get
mean,
the
Exactly.
surprise round.
if they were just gonna say halt and not immediately attack us when we walk in, then maybe this could be solved without violence. Is
I
what
mean,
Cillian would say. Overk's just here to do a job.
if we have surprised them, then they haven't done anything.
They haven't done anything. Yes. In which case, this is a surprise round. They don't have a turn to actually react. Now that I think about it. So they wouldn't say hold. Press up solo. What is Olo doing?
Um, I think that's one. Can't really see too well what's going on. I don't know if there's any more. I guess for now I'll just take the dodge action.
I would like to note that Overk is currently on the ceiling, so you could move through the space below him as though it's normal terrain, and you would be able to see underneath him.
I mean, the problem is that it's really short. Like we're gonna be bumping midsections bad.
So wouldn't really be able to do much.
He could
Yeah, so
crouch.
not like that.
Anyway, dodge action. Over.
Yeah.
He is going to walk in to more or less the center of the room and hold an attack action for the first one to attack him, which is, I guess, my player way of saying he's going to give them the chance to either attack first or um, not choose violence.
Okay.
And that'll be my turn.
Sargaic.
Okay, let's see. Seeing as how he doesn't really speak Draconic, and he figures that these guys are not supposed to be here. Here, if you catch my drift, he'll just fire off with a MILF's acid arrow.
Unfortunately, a 4 would miss. Or an 8, sorry. To get them to attack roll.
True, but with MILF's acid arrow, it just means that he that he takes half the acid damage from the initial roll and does not take the acid damage from the second roll.
Alright. Then he will take 3 acid. Just give me this one.
Yeah, the first roll will be the one on the left.
Okay. Anything else on your turn or no?
Nope, that'll be it.
Oma.
So we're all seeing now?
They see you guys definitely enter the room and all that, but it's still a surprise round, so they don't have much time to react.
Okay. I was just wondering if I roll with advantage or not. I want to firebolt that dude that I can see.
Alright.
Peace was never an option. And I'll end my turn. I'll move back a couple and end my turn.
Gotcha. Check.
All right, let's see. So, only one has been hit so far with acid.
Yep, this one.
Given the state of the room, a quick assessment. Jack would draw from his pouch an Eye of Newt, gesture the general direction of the injured one to place a hex on him. Then, once that is placed, and knowing that he has the element of surprise for the moment and is blocking the hallway from people who want to get through, he will move in. Run up to this guy in the corner, booming blade.
Alright.
Where is my weapon? There we go.
14 will hit.
Nice.
13.
Yep.
And he's
Just-
bloodied.
Yeah. Stab, flourish back. All right, let's do this. That's the turn.
Of course, on their turn, they can't take any actions or bonus actions, but they will speak amongst themselves. As Omo will hear it. Well, will of course say halt, while the others will say, "What do you mean halt? These are intruders. Kill them." Hola.
Ah, there went peace as an option.
Okay, there is 4. Interesting. I would like to try the Bane on the 3 non-injured.
It's a well save, right?
It's
Charisma
a charisma save.
Charisma. Okay. 1 will pass. The other 2 fail.
And then she backs the butt up.
Over.
Oh, 2 of them are already dead. Huh. Okay. Over
No,
will.
not dead. They've just been afflicted with the Bane spell.
Ah. Okay. Well, first thing that Overk is going to do is bring forth an echo. There.
Okay.
And adding a symbol to it so that we'll know which one's the echo, since their life is linked, apparently. And then, Overk didn't get to use his held attack action. Oh well. He will. Actually, would I be able to use my held attack action before the start of my turn if none of them aggroed him?
Nope, your held attack action was when they came to attack you. That was your specifications.
Okay. Well, he is going to bop this one. Bop.
Hits before.
And then that'll be his turn.
Sarkaik.
Okay, turning once more to the bloodied one. Sagai will next try and hit them all with a firebolt this time around.
Alright. Get 1 power. 10 will unfortunately miss.
And that's it for my turn.
Alright. Oma.
How bloodied is bloodied? Like damn near dead?
Just a little under. Or over a quarter, sorry, not under.
Okay. I'll just
Basically
firebolt.
less than half.
Yeah.
Dude to my left, firebolt. I'll move back after end turn.
And that will come as he firebolt scorches him as he's gets pushed back by the force of the firebolt onto the wall right next to him, and he's dead.
Nasty.
Right. Jack.
Seeing his target drop, Jack smiles a bit. Wheeling around, he gestures, moving his hex now to this one, since it's the only one not under a Bane effect. And takes a quick step. And he will fire a finger gun at it. Point, turn, point, Eldritch Blast.
All right.
Wait, finger gun. He has an invisible gun?
11, I imagine, is a miss.
Nope. As he sees the finger gun and just dodges out of the way. So he doesn't know what you're doing with it.
Blast.
He's a Hexblade Warlock.
Anyway. That'd be
And
all.
he will get back to here to cork up the hall. And that's his turn.
All right. They all start charging forward. These two on Overk. This one going after Jack.
Yep.
The ones on Overk
That
first.
one entered Overk's threatened ranged. He's going to get bopped.
Let's see. This one did. Yes, it did. 11 will miss
Oh,
now.
dang. Sad day.
It's graced by the very scaly skin of the dragonkin thing. Not sure what it is. And they always swing their short swords at Overk with a minus d4 on each attack. They each swing
Wait.
twice.
Hang on. This one can't move.
Wait a minute.
I mean, I bopped him. And I have Sentinel.
Only
Yeah,
if
do
you can bop
opportunity
him with your
attack.
reaction.
What?
You have to hit him.
Only
That
if you
and-
bop with your reaction, which you did
Yes.
not.
And your threatened range with the Glaver currently is now 10 feet, not 5 feet, by the way. That's how it works.
I think it says 10 feet sphere, and yeah, that's what he's
Just 10
got.
foot radius. Anyway. Yeah, you have to hit him first in order to actually have Sentinel proc. Plus minus d4 on each. Let's see, what's your AC right now? 16. Miss. That's a miss. That is still a hit. And the last one, since you rolled just high enough. And you will take 7 piercing. This one against Jack, who will of course still swing twice.
Mhm.
Hits you once for 6 piercing.
Since Jack's concentrating, he'll use his reaction to shield him.
Alright, and then it will miss. Over takes
Yeah.
7. And that's their turn. Hola. Wisdom save. You will fail and take 1 necrotic because he isn't damaged.
Thank you.
Right. Overk. If all those damage there.
Yeah, sorry. That's fair.
Wait,
Mhm.
Who's the one that hit Overk?
It'll be the bottom one.
Swing and a miss. Okay, that'll be his turn.
Okay. Yeah, polar master, right?
Yep, and with the scaly dragonkin now
no,
right
he-
up in both Sorgai and Jack's faces, Sorgai will instead rear ear with the warhammer in hand and take a swing.
I will hit this one for 5. So Sentinel only procs with Polar Master if you use it in that fashion.
Yeah, you don't get up attacks for people moving into your range from Sentinel alone.
No.
Yeah. So that works. That's why Polar Master or Sentinel is really good.
Oh. Okay. Oh well.
Anyway. Step up, up. Oh my.
Firebolt that dude.
13. Will still miss, as it just narrowly singes part of him.
They're just armed with melee weapons, that I can tell.
Yes, they have no armor. It just seems like their scales are pretty tough.
Alright, I'll pull up a bit and turn.
Jack.
Well, there's someone in his face, so Hex is still on him. Jack will again just flourish the blade and take a stab.
17 hits for 16, as it's just enough to kill him.
All right, seeing him go down already, Jack will gesture, now moving his Hex balefully towards the one that's already taken some damage and is cursed already. So,
Gotcha.
and then, yeah, I think that will be Jack's turn. He wants to keep things bottlenecked.
So this one will just move back, since over can't take opportunity attacks with a 10-foot reach. Unless they move 15 feet away. This one can attack Sargaik. This one will attack Overk. Alright. It will hit Sargaik, as it will miss Overk twice for 7 piercing. Sargaik takes 7.
Okay, what exactly did the lizardman in roll for the attack roll?
He
against
swung
me?
a short sword.
Yeah, what was the roll to hit?
I will not tell you that.
Well, if it was below 19, it was 18 or lower, so the guy will use shield as a reaction.
Alright, and then it will bounce off.
Coincidentally,
He did
is
not take 7
also
piercing.
this, as a result, also activates his arcade ward, giving him 10 temporary hit points.
Solid.
Solid. Hold on. That's their turn.
I would like to give my Toll of the Dead another crack.
On which one?
Can I tell from here which one is most injured?
Yeah. Technically the one in the back right here.
Then that is what I shall aim for.
Wisdom save. Guess we'll subtract the d4 from this. Doesn't matter, he rolled lower than it. He will take 8 necrotic.
Yay!
And he is bloodied.
Thank you.
Orvik.
Going to swing at the one in front of Sir Geik.
Alright.
Shank.
Will hit for 9. She slashed him in the back, leaving behind a very nasty gash.
And that'll be turn.
Sir Gaik, it's your turn.
Oh, swing and I just barely miss.
Unfortunately, yes, as he narrowly dodges it by a hair's breadth.
Well, that or he catches the hammer right under the head with his own weapon.
Alright. Nothing else? Oma.
Dude in the back.
Gotcha. Hit save. Let's see how he does. Even if we rolled a 4 in that, he would still pass. Unfortunately.
Lucky some gun. Yeah, end turn here.
Jack.
Well, my hex target's in the back. This guy up next to me, I don't much care for him. That said, I think I have a plan. Jack will move forward past him. He will provoke an op attack.
He will do so.
Because the creature's attacking me within Overic's reach, Overic can hit him with Sentinel, right?
Sentinel is only within 5 feet.
I thought that was a rotted out.
Was it rotted out? Let me check.
I mean, I'm kind of hoping it does because, reach.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it was like an errata from like 2 years ago that I didn't know existed until like last week.
Look at that. I just learned that today. Alright, you do have it.
Then op attack. Let's go.
Doesn't matter.
Ow.
Not that it mattered. Did he hit Jack?
He definitely hit Jack.
Ow. That's sad.
You
Okay.
take 6 piercing. You can continue. It's your turn.
Yeah, I can live with the 6. Let me see if my concentration goes away on my hex.
Wait,
Shouldn't.
piercing? Huh.
Yeah, the easier
Ah.
experts.
Kept it up. Okay. Make it to here. Take a swing with the sword. And this
Alright.
will be another booming blade. Oof. Man. Not having great luck with this round.
It rolls.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's the turn.
Well, misses as he dodges away. These two keep swinging at their adversaries. One on Ulrich, one on Jack, and then 2 on Sergaic. 2 Sergaic first. Two hits. Sergaic, 2 of these attacks will hit you. There. Against Jack and Ulrich, both of these attacks hit you as well. Or one attack hits each of you.
They're getting good on their attack roll, especially with that pain. All right.
I'm actually getting low here.
Okay, how much damage did I take?
You will take 8 piercing, Sergaic. Jack and Ulrich. Or Jack first, you take 5. Ulrich takes 3. That's your turn. Follow.
And gonna change it up. Oh no! Maybe I shouldn't have changed it up.
Anything else?
No, it's just gonna sit in my shame.
Ulrich.
Yes. Who was the one that hit an ally?
They both
This
did.
one. They both did, actually, if anything.
Free for all. Got it. He's going to swing at the one next to Jack because it's closer and Jack's.
And focusing
Looking a
fire on
bit-
the bloodied target is just smart.
Yeah, and also Jack's looking a bit worse for wear, so miss. Unfortunately. And that's turn.
Sergaic.
Oh, missed.
Wow.
Oma.
Int save on that dude.
Alright. There you go. They're down.
Wow.
Anything else?
Yeah, I'll move back and turn.
Jack?
Take a swing. Same old booming blade. Another whiff. Just could somebody hit these things? And Jack will give Overic a bardic inspiration.
Oh my gosh. Well, anyway. They will continue swinging. This one's gonna swing at Olo now.
No! Reaction, die.
So what's the hit ball? 16 does hit.
Does
He
12
does
kill
go
it?
down.
Nice.
Or the attack goes off.
Never try that again.
And then this one will attack over. And Jack once each. Alright. It misses both of you.
Good thing I had temporary HP when I did get hit.
All right, let's try this again.
Better.
Okay.
As you do,
Max
stick
damage, too.
your primal savagery into it. And it does.
Oh, about time.
You know what the best part is? Ulrich didn't have to use his bardic inspiration. He still has it.
For 10 minutes.
Every party needs a pooper. That's why they invited you, party pooper.
In this room, you can see a very large, like, stone.
Well, now that
I want to say just wall.
Is that
Perception
this?
on.
Okay, what makes it remarkably different from the other walls?
It's the fact that there is a very noticeable, like, slit in between the cracks here.
Hmm. Well, looks like we probably have two options, gentlemen. Which way should we be heading?
And you have two doors that flank this little crossroad here.
Oh, there's a
Are they
door on this
obvious?
side, too.
Are they obvious?
Oh yeah, they're definitely always. They just look
Okay.
like very large stone doors. Have a handle.
No one in here yet.
you said that the wall opposite the way we came in had a large crack in it, right?
Hold up. Wait, move any further.
Olo moves about, handing out good
1 second.
berries, 2 apiece.
Every time.
You not have collision on?
There you go. Should restrict you guys now.
Let me try to run through a wall real quick. Yep, stops me.
Alright. Every time.
Huh.
There's nothing in that right anyway. Well, anyway. You guys wouldn't be able to hear anything in the other rooms, otherwise enemies would have come through those doors. Now wouldn't they?
Ulrich will open this door.
You can see a weird mechanism in the center of this room.
Hmm.
Ulrich will call back and say that this room is clear for now. And then he will inspect the mechanism with
Huh?
his +1 to perception.
Shall we check the bodies of our fallen enemies to see if there's any notes they might have have on their person? You know, standing orders and the like.
Certainly worth a try. I think there's another door in here.
I'm assuming that perception roll of 4 doesn't give over a whole lot.
And nope, it's a mechanism. You know it's connected to something.
Oh, Rick, I've been meaning to do this, and as he goes by, Jack will just touch him, and now there's light on him instead of on Jack.
Okay,
I
what now?
do not need this. I can
Yep.
see in the dark.
But you tend to be on the front lines, and we do have people with range who can't see in the dark.
I can always shout.
Yes, but they would like to be able to see the things that you're hitting so that they can also hit them.
Oh, very well, if you must.
Right now, it's like,
Is there a door here?
yep.
I open the door.
Very thick door, but you're able to open it with no problem. But in this room is a bunch of scorch marks
Hmm.
of probably what used to be a bunch of papers and whatnot.
So there's no papers currently there.
No.
Okay, that investigation check was for checking the bodies for any standing orders, letters, or anything like that.
On the bodies of these individuals, no. There is none of the notes.
Overk will attempt to search the room that he's currently in for anything of note.
While he's doing that,
Investigation.
Jack will take a second look at this mechanism, see if he can figure out what it is.
Sure. Overick, I'm gonna need an investigation, not a perception.
Oh, okay.
Which did you say it was for the mechanism?
The mechanism, it will also be investigation.
Okay. Yeah, looks like a mechanism.
That will look like a mechanism. Within this room, Overick, although much of it is unsalvageable since squash marks against paper, probably not a good combination. You will find only one bit of what's the word? One section of this room isn't as squished as the others. But in this section, you will see a folder. Yeah. See a folder. You will see within the folder, you see just a bunch of mathematical equations and whatnot.
He will pick up the folder to take back the others and see if to the others and see if one of the smarty boys can figure it out.
Might as well hand it to me. The dwarf can read dwarvish, so if it happens to be in dwarven, he'll be able to read it. If not, he has comprehend languages, so I can just ritual cast it.
Sounds like some of the stuff I did with my bard, and a very smart thing to do indeed. So is it in Dwarvish or is it just numbers?
It's numbers and dwarvish.
Hey, Sir Guy.
So I don't need to waste 10 minutes in its casting a ritual for comprehend languages. Let's see what it says.
Sir Gaik, I have something for you. And Overk and his echo walk over. He hands the folder over to his echo hands the folder over to you.
And so guy flips the folder and proceeds to peruse it.
And since I attempted to figure out that mechanism with a perception when it should have been an investigation, um, I'm guessing it being a mechanism is all I got because I didn't roll the proper roll last time? Question mark?
Yeah, I want to know in this investigation for me.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely roll investigation to see if I can figure this out. Yep, that definitely looks like a mechanism.
Definite mechanism. Alright. Sargak, no need to make any rolls or whatnot. This folder. This folder's contents contain the values of the certain items or whatever resides within the actual storage area of this vault. But now you're just in basically the receptionist area.
It would appear this ledger might actually contain an inventory of the items stored within this vault.
The ledger, basically, yeah.
Interesting. Anything of value or worth in there, says Jack as he's listening at this door.
So Gaic proceeds to read through the list with meticulousness, just to see if there is any, in fact, anything to be aware of.
Yep, just give me 1 second.
Yes, yes. Fascinating. Really? Okay.
Hey, would it be possible to take a moment and bend over one of these bodies and try to figure out exactly what species it is?
I imagine that might be a nature check.
God, your voice changed so radically. You truly are a master of voices.
That's what is currently in that ledger. As you sum it all up.
Apparently, 3 objects with the image of a dragon inscribed upon them, all told worth about 500 gold pieces. Apparently.
And within the vault is also another 500 gold pieces.
Along with an additional 500 gold.
Yeah.
Although, out of
Although,
curiosity, reading through this ledger, do I find any marks or indicators as to what clan the vault was built by?
can you repeat your question?
Do I find any identifying marks or clan symbols I'd like to identify what sort of which clan was responsible for the construction of this vault? Apparently.
Not in particular. Probably just a merchant dwarf company whose specialization was just storage and securing such items.
Well, in that case, I think I'll have my tribe making an investigation on this mechanism here.
While Sorgaic does that, Overk had a thought. And he says, "Hey, someone want to check and see if we've got a similar mechanism to this in the other room?"
Working on that. Jack's still listening at the door to see if he hears anything on the other side.
You hear nothing.
All right.
And I assume that a 7 is a no dice.
Man, what a mechanism over there.
What a mechanism. I wonder what it is.
All right. Well, this one opens. Interesting.
Follow that nature check. 1 second.
Similar mechanism, different placement. Also another door.
I have an idea. Why don't we try turning these in the same direction? Or wait, might be opposing directions.
You will know that these particular creatures are a very warped form of a dragon or a dragon wormling. You would know that they are called draconians.
Ooh. And they didn't explode when we murdered them.
Yeah. So, hey guys, I figured it out. So, like, these are dragon wormlings, but like they're super warped. Like, they're called draconians.
Oh? Something you
Yeah.
know much of? Afraid I've not heard of them before.
Nah, not really. I mean, like, I know enough about their anatomy to like put them back together.
Well, that's only mildly disturbing, but an appreciable skill, I suppose.
A moment while I try to recall if there's any tidbits of history I might know about them.
Roll my history. Yeah. We know that forming draconians is usually done deliberately. These people, or these draconians, were made to, or yet just exist for a specific purpose. You know that since there was at least 4 of them here, there's probably more of its kind in the vault currently.
Well, from what I'm able to recall, these draconians are usually made on purpose. So I imagine that I imagine that with these 4, they might not be the only ones here. So be on the lookout and be ready for more to show up.
Well, man, made. Does that sound like arcane crap?
I think that might indeed be the case. Yes, let me see if I can recall if there's any information I have stored about in my own head about that.
While they are still going on out there about draconians, Jack will check this door.
Whoa, and
Yep.
with that at 24 critical.
In this particular room, you will hear nothing new. Nothing pops out.
It's just to be a storage closet of some kind.
You see that most of the small chests and drawers are already opened and emptied. A lot of its contents are spewed out of the place.
Whatever was in here before has been thoroughly looted, unfortunately. Now, who suggested those mechanisms? I think it's worth a go.
Yes,
Be easier than
let's,
breaking down that stone door.
Yeah, we may as well give it a go. Sir Gag will take hold of one of what appears to be a handle for these mechanisms and proceed to push it counterclockwise.
Before that, is there anyone who has not tried looking at them that would like to try? It would be nice if we had a little bit more information going in case we end up breaking something by accident otherwise.
Oh, why not? Investigation.
Yep.
Alright, I'm very smart.
Apparently, yes. Yes, you
Better than
are.
the rest. Oh, well, you'll be able to notice that, of course, this mechanism is meant to open the one door in the middle. It's connected to such so that if you turn it counterclockwise, not clockwise, that you will be able to open it on this end. It will only open one of the doors.
Hmm.
We would assume the other one is in a similar fashion.
So this one counterclockwise. I would assume the others maybe clockwise, guys.
Hard to say.
Yeah, so in that case,
I'll give it a
just,
push.
Jiggles a little bit as I'm pushing in the wrong direction.
Jack will start turning this one.
With that in mind, Sir Gag will turn around and start pushing in the other direction, counterclock. Clockwise is not the right direction for here, so we go clockwise here.
And as you guys turn it, it goes smoothly, albeit it is a bit heavy.
Oh, this is what they hire people for. Come on, you got this.
As you see both of the doors in the middle open, Overk, Olo, and Oba.
That did the trick. The way is open.
There's a fire pit.
You are blasted with a ray of heat as within this room, it's uncomfortably hot.
This is very warm, but it also has a similar looking mechanism.
Get it open, dude.
I was gonna say, Jack's gonna give this one a test. If he lets go of it, does it start spinning back?
No.
He won't let go. But if he backs off, it starts just cranking back down.
No, I won't do that.
Okay. In that case, he will step away from it cautiously.
Yeah, quick question. Did that Arcana check reveal any information regarding the reason for the basic reason for the creation of Draconians? You know, if there's any magic involved in it?
It's usually magic. It's usually the only way. You can only really do it from stolen eggs, because if you try to steal an egg from, or if you try to corrupt an egg while the dragon is still around, you're probably not gonna live.
So, going off of what they learned from the prior
Yeah,
mechanisms,
I relayed this information regarding the Draconian creation process to the rest of the party. Although, out of curiosity, would the 24 also give an indication as to the most likely groups responsible for such things?
To your guys' knowledge, no.
anywho, as I was saying before, Overk would take a look at this device here, noting that it looks somewhat similar to the other devices, albeit a bit bigger. And I'm wondering if, one, I'll need to make an investigation roll on this one too, and two, if yes, would prior knowledge that was shared pertaining to the other mechanisms give him advantage?
Oh, for the love of... Jack's just going to go up and start turning it. Whichever way it goes smoother.
Right. It feels smoother doing counterclockwise.
Cool. What happens when he starts turning it counterclockwise?
Feel that some of the area around you starts. You'll see the lava around you starts draining a bit. That's the first section you see.
Overk and his Echo will join in helping with pushing the thing.
Sure. I'll keep continuing to push it.
So far, so good. Yes, actually, it has seemed to have revealed a door, hasn't it? Perhaps someone should investigate that.
Well, if you'd rather we do that before opening other pathways, I suppose.
Last thing we need is to open 3 doors and have 3 groups of foes spring out at us.
A fair point.
Yes, you're worried about the possibility that there might be magical guards like arcane golems that have been enchanted to withstand the heat of lava, yes?
More just that someone said that the Draconians we just killed said that they were here with someone who we didn't meet yet.
Yes, well, since they were standing guard over the vault, there's a possibility that they might not have even figured out how to open this thing, so it's possible that whoever we're going to be running into will be coming in from behind us.
It's a distinct possibility.
Overk opens the door.
As you open it, roll initiative.
Well, that figures.
Right around that corner.
I can see him.
Yes, you can. Alright, first up's Jack.
Ulrich's supposed to be making like 20 feet of bright light and 20 feet of dim light, which I can't currently see for some reason.
Oh, my bad.
I mean, wouldn't the lava just create dim light throughout the entire room?
Only into this room. And some of it did go away because
So, from what I'm hearing, you're saying that Overk has renewed the light spell?
yeah, he has
Jack
the lights
cast light on Ulrich.
He hasn't renewed the light spell. He is the light spell. Basically, Jack did to him what I like to do to my unlit torches.
That said, Jack can't actually see anything in there. He might jimmy a little at his spot, but he's not going to let go of this wheel in case it starts cranking back and cooks over it. So His turn is literally just to continue holding this and take the dodge action.
Uma.
Alright. Let's see if I can get a better... Yeah, I'll just try it again. Another int save on that dude.
Uh-huh.
Bless you.
You keep rolling so high.
Well,
It's like the third 15 in a row.
Thank you. I didn't know anybody had heard me sneeze.
Oh no.
Okay. Ain't gonna lie, a little nervous about becoming turtle soup.
Valid.
Agreed. This dwarf would rather not become a shrimp on the barbecue.
Yeah, I guess I'll use my action to dash.
Would that be it?
Yep.
Orvik?
Overk and his echo will block the way. Overk will also shank. Or not.
That's unfortunate because you do miss.
And pass turn. Oh, he will shout over to the others. I think there's more than one here, if last time's any indication.
Sarkaik?
Yeah, apologies. I'm suffering a bit of a lag on my end here. Okay, from where I'm standing now, can I see the draconian there in the corner?
Yes, but you will have half cover.
Well, good lucky for me, I have a way around that.
Oh, nice. Ah. Doesn't matter.
And yeah, for the sake of argument, let's just multiply that 4 by 3
3.
and say, and they're all targeting the same target, so that's 12 force damage to the draconian.
Yep. As he takes each dart. It doesn't look good as he has 3 darts get to disappear as soon as they hit him. Looks very bloodied as he coughs up a bit of blood. Anything else?
Nope, that'll be the end of my turn since I've already moved and made an action.
Right. Shikoni foot soldiers. They gotta move up to Overk. They will start swinging. This one's on the Echo.
Let me just real quick double check the Echo's AC.
14 plus something else.
14 plus proficiency bonus, which
Though usually
is
enough.
2,
2.
16.
Oh, he has the same as the... yeah,
Real.
Overk and his Echo both have 16. Cool.
Right.
And funnily
Echo.
enough, since that other draconian just waltzed into your range, you can fire off your sentinel feat, allows you to make an opportunity attack against him just as he comes into range.
That's only if you have Full Arm Master.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. Now, if they were trying to target someone else, on the other hand, Ultra Mega Shank.
But
I
anyway,
don't know if targeting your Echo counts, because your Echo's not a creature.
It
an
is
object.
not. No, it is essentially an extension of him. Actually, if you want to get both technical and literal, it is an alternate. The Echo is an echo of an alternate timeline version of over.
Okay,
So
but
It's an effect.
mechanically, it's not a creature, so I don't know if you get sentinel attack if they attack your echo. That's what I'm saying.
I doubt it.
Nope, gotta be a creature.
Well,
Although it'd be seriously
of course
busted.
It could technically count if we have the DM's permission.
When a creature against a target other than you.
I mean, honestly, I feel like a DM that'd be cool with that would also be cool with having having the Unearthed Arcana Tunnel Defender fighting
No.
style.
Anyway, it's basically just you, and you have the feat, so you would not be able to do it.
Nope. But I do still get an opportunity attack if they move outside of his threatened range, even if they disengage.
This is true.
Also, Echo goes down on the first, swings the second time at Overg, which will miss. Second one will hit Overg once for 4 piercing, which is this one. That was one over around the corner. You get half cover from him because he's trying to attack around the corner. Will miss twice. Check. Oh, and the Echo's gone.
Do either of the two here look like they've been damaged at all?
The one around the corner.
Okay, I can't see the one around the corner. So Jack, finally having a shot on one of them, just kind of props himself against the wheel to make sure it doesn't start spinning back. Gesture, since hexes last for an hour, so he'll put a hex on this one and he'll take his shot. That's sad damage, but it's damage.
It is damage indeed. Would that be all?
Yep, unfortunately, that's all Jack's got.
Ooma.
Top
Same
dude.
one. Yep.
Yep.
Fails, doesn't even need the minus D4.
Cool. Yeah, I'll just move a little bit and turn.
Olo.
I'm going to Toll the Dead.
Alright.
I think I'm actually going to move up a little first.
I take it you're targeting the one that got nailed with a triple dose of magic missile?
Bet your buttons.
One up top. Gotcha.
He's mind slivered too.
Wait, wouldn't that guy have half cover?
If it's Toll the Dead, doesn't matter what the cover is.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
I said it's Toll
Yeah,
the Dead.
half and full cover don't really work all that great against saving throws.
Holy crud, the bell really did toll for him.
Yeah, when it comes to deck saves, that's when it don't matter. Anything else, Holdo?
Yeah, I'm going to back up.
Alright, over.
Another echo. And now over is going to try shanking this one.
You want to play me?
Yep.
That will hit before slashing.
Yay. Awesome hit. Sad damage. Pass turn.
So, Gaik.
Okay. Sir Guy will fire off a acid splash that hit the two draconians that are still up and about.
Right. It will target both because they're right next to each other. One will
Yep.
pass, be the top one, and the one that failed will be the bottom one.
Okay, then that's fair enough.
Anything else?
No, that'll be it.
The foot soldiers will continue attacking. One of the one of the echo. Miss. Then it will hit the echo again. It's gone. Just leave it over here.
Yeah.
And then as that one connects, he hear this one. At least Omo will hear that one say, "Stop attacking the one that isn't bleeding. Attack the one that is." As he swings at you, and he will miss both times. Check.
Jack still has a hex on one of them, so that one's getting finger guns.
Gotcha.
But I imagine that's a miss. So that is Jack's whole turn. Still got to hold the wheel.
Oma.
Int save bottom dude.
Gotcha. Bottom dude. And save. Fails. Takes 2 seconds.
End turn.
Ola.
The next most injured one for another Toll the Dead.
Alright. Any, mini, money. Bottom one. Both have the same health. He will pass.
Good.
With
Yeah,
the
you know what? It's a start. It's not much damage, but it's a start.
Actually, the bottom one has a D4.
yeah.
Just enough to pass.
Fair enough.
While you move, Orvik, your turn again.
Echo. Shank the smart one.
Alright.
Curses.
That will miss. Sorkaik. As a splash. This time they both pass.
Well, darn. That's the end of my turn.
As he has told him to hit the one that is not bleeding, or that is bleeding, sorry. Orvik will get hit 3 times. Total of 14 piercing. Check.
Same old, same old. Wow. They need to stop moving down there. That's the turn.
Oma.
Another int save on the same dude, bottom dude.
Is it too late to use the Bardic Inspiration die on the last attack I did?
Yep.
Damn it!
He will fail that one.
On the bright side, you will be able to do so on your next turn.
Unless
Yeah, that assumes it's going to be close enough. That last one might have actually been close enough.
Also, like, I think we spent more than 10 minutes faffing about with the machines.
It's end turn.
Oh, sorry, there's a minute left.
Fair enough.
Hold on.
Gonna keep it rolling.
Out of curiosity, what domain is your character using anyway?
Oof.
It doesn't have an attack roll, so that doesn't matter. It just needs to be changed. Wisdom save. Bottom one fails, takes 6. Orvik.
He's going to use his bonus action to eat one of the good berries he was given to heal 4 HP.
When is it a bonus action?
Say again?
It's not a net bonus action, it's an action.
Are you kidding me?
Mhm.
I honestly wish that all DMs would agree on bonus action for potion drinking and berry eating, because having to keep track of who does what's kind of confusing. Fine, I'll just shank the guy in front of me. Shoot.
Huh?
Are you kidding me?
Well, that's
Okay, no, I refuse. I'm going to say that I use my Unleash Incarnation to have my Echo attack it too. I refuse to accept that.
sure. Go ahead.
This is really starting to annoy me. All right, on the off chance it's actually going to work, I am going to use the Bardic Inspiration die. I just hope I roll high. Does a 13 hit?
Unfortunately, no.
Damn it! All right, that's my turn.
Sorgak.
Well, I was kind of hoping to avoid using this because I don't want to end up me causing a cave-in or anything, but I'm gonna fire off a shadow spell located just far enough back to hit the Draconians and nobody else.
Yep, I know. Con save. This one just does. This one passes the save, takes 6 thunder. It is bloodied. Would that be all?
Yeah, that'll be all. Oh, wait. What about the other one?
The other one died.
Ah, so we're just down to the one now.
Yep. If that is it, Foot Soldier will swing his short sword again at the one that is actually bleeding. He will hit you once for 3 piercing. Then it'll be Jack's turn.
Hey, same old, same old. More finger guns as I just lean against the wheel.
That will be enough to
Hey,
kill him. Initiative for the time being.
Overk
Yeah.
is starting to feel seriously nettled that he keeps missing every single time. The only reason why he's not genuinely mad is and just irritated is the fact that at least he's doing his job as a meat shield. Also, at this time, he's going to eat both of the good berries because we're out of combat. So, he gets +8.
Quick question. Did the fire damage I did the first encounter, did I see anything? Did it do full damage? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, Sergei will
Yes.
move over to Overk and hand him his own 2 good berries to help heal him as well.
No, I'll be fine for now. You might need those later. And he will go to open this door and brace himself for more combat.
Hey, man, wait, do you need like more healing?
Sergei will
if there's
Oh.
something dangerous back there, you may want to fall back. I can't actually see you anymore.
Overk.
Oh, I suppose I could use a little.
Yeah, man, how about you come back, take a breath?
Actually, hold on. I want to try something. Everyone return to the platform and we'll see what happens when the mechanism is let go.
That's fair.
Sir Gaik, please come off of the stairs.
Agree.
Is Sir Gaik just stubbornly stayed on it? Oh, okay. For a moment, I was wondering if he was just
lagging. No, I'm just lagging like all hell.
Yeah.
Oh,
once,
jeez.
once everyone's back on the platform, Jack will try letting go of the wheel, see what happens.
Nothing. Stays in place.
Lovely.
Fine. Good. Let's go investigate.
Oh, good. So I guess it was safe for us to let go of this after all.
Unless someone comes in behind us, like you mentioned before, yes.
Don't put that out into the universe. It
Merely an
has...
observation.
Yes, well, the universe has a tendency to answer in uncomfortable ways, I have found in my travels. Olo can attest.
So,
Any
who feels
case.
like taking a short rest?
I mean, always can. Are these stairs going down, up?
They are going down.
I can personally keep going quite a while, I imagine.
Let's see if this door opens. Push.
As you open it,
Combat starts again.
an empty room.
Huh.
I must say, their interior design decorator was somewhat uninspired. Marvelous stonework, but could use some touching up.
Huh.
But of course,
Another
in this
mechanism.
whole
Well, just to be on this, well, just in case, I'm gonna make an investigation check on these new Draconians to see if there might be any keys or something on their person for that might lead to places in here or containers.
upon a quick glance and inspection, you will not be able to find much.
Ulrich is going to go back to walking on the ceiling.
Yep, you do find another mechanism. You do see that it isn't in the best of shape upon easy first glance. It's a lot more worn and I wouldn't say like broken, but like it definitely doesn't look like
Yeah, I'm lagging way bad.
it was
Could
maintained well.
somebody move my character to where I'm with the party?
I gotcha.
Okay, you said this mechanism wasn't in the best of shape, right?
Correct.
Okay, so Guy will proceed to pull out his orb and proceed to try and cast Mending to see if he can do some quick repairs on this thing.
Oh man, hey, I can help with that.
We get two people casting mending. And the couple minutes that will come by, what was the other three doing?
I mean, assuming they're just fixing things, Jack's keeping an eye on the door to make sure we don't get snuck up on from behind.
Hey, Oma, I agree that you're smart. Want to make sure that all these gears are in the right place?
Yeah, I guess.
Uh, I saw something move down there. Lean, was that you?
That was not me. That was probably Ulrich.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just doing his Dampier thing, walking on the ceiling, staring up at the lava.
Keeping what?
Hey, can Ulrich reach the mechanism from the ceiling?
No.
What? Come on. It can't be that far away.
This central chamber is a lot bigger, considering there are multiple levels to it.
Really? Okay, how many feet between the central platform where the thing is at and the ceiling?
20 feet.
Nice. Oh wait, that means he'd take fall damage if he just drops, wouldn't he?
Yep.
Well, he waits for the others. No, that would be too silly for him. Never mind.
Alright.
He's just going to keep an eye out and make sure that nothing's, following them down the hall or whatever. Oh, wait. He can't properly see out the door from where they came from here, can he? If he's on the ceiling.
No, that's correct.
Okay, then he will walk down the wall to get back down to floor level, and then he'll stand guard here.
Roll my perception check while you're over there.
Sure.
Okay, let's see if we can make an investigation check to see if we've managed to repair this mechanism fully.
Oma will be able to determine that it does indeed do things. So does Sorgai. You know it operates in a similar fashion to the other mechanisms of this place. Whatever it's connected to, you're quite unsure.
With all due respect, Master Dwarf, before we go playing with that, we should probably see what happens if we get rid of the rest of the lava. I'd hate to open a door and burn our reward.
Agreed. Let's leave this mechanism here as is for the time being. In the meantime, keep an eye out for any dwarven runes you might find along doorways or walls or such.
I know
We might get a feel for what we're looking at.
I know a bit of
Speaking of-
Dwarvish. Certainly, I'll keep an eye out.
Speaking of keeping an eye out for things, what does a perception roll of 18 give Overk?
Ulrich will be able to hear something echoing from past the hallway, probably upside. But that's about as much as you can hear.
So, south on the map?
Yep.
Hey guys, I'm hearing noises back the way we came. Think it might be a good idea to make sure there's nothing back there so we don't get stuck in a pincer attack?
Can you send your double back to look?
Not as such. I am not yet skilled enough to send it at a distance, nor am I skilled enough to see through its eyes.
Shame.
So
Out of character, that would be level 7.
Out of character. I know.
So I take it we regroup at the mechanism in the center of the room.
Yes. Although Overk is recommending, hey, maybe we should make sure that we're not about to get outflanked by whatever might be making noise back the way we came from.
I mean, by all means, if you'd like to go check it out, I'd be happy to have the assistance.
So just me then. Very well.
I gave a quick peek. I didn't see anything too close.
I mean, if we're lucky, they'll have as hard a time hitting you as you've had hitting them.
The sounds you can hear sound like they're coming from where you came from, upstairs, or up the ladder.
Up the ladder. Huh.
Well, I guess here's as good a place as any to set up an ambush. So let's get working on that.
Overk will proceed down the hallway to see if he sees anything by looking up the ladder.
You will see quite a few. You will definitely hear battle sounds, as you can see a couple of draconians get frostbit to death instantly.
Huh. He'll probably be fine. Turns back.
So what did you find out in your scouting?
Well, looks like our guide's having a fight of his own. He seems to be handling himself well enough. By the way, I don't think we took a proper look at the hall we came down in case there were any kind of doors in the walls.
Ah, you mean like hidden passages? Yes, dwarves do tend to do that from time to time.
With all due respect, I'd rather check the doors we know exist than look for ones we're not sure of. And as Jack is saying that, he's just starting to turn the wheel to
Agreed.
lower the lava again.
Yeah, we could always just check on the way out.
Overk and his echo will help.
You guys
And
will see
as will
that
Sir
another
Gayak.
pathway. See
All
that
right.
another pathway to the red side has been opened. Do you continue turning the wheel?
No, now that one's been open to the right, again, he'll check it this time, make sure it doesn't spin back.
Doesn't.
All right.
Sorry, every time you see it open another section like this, you will
Yep.
hear a click as if it
Okay.
locks in place.
He's
So,
Jack will always check, but as long as it doesn't move, he's not. But he'll sit here for now because he's just as good from here as up there.
question: is Oma a tank?
It can be.
Ah. Oh,
Do
never
you,
mind. Looks like Olo's joining him down here.
do you want me to be a tank?
I mean, you could be if you
That's
wanted.
a solid wall of black.
All right, Olo. You take one side, I'll take the other. My double at the ceiling will be prepared to strike from above as necessary. Let's open this up and see what happens.
I recast light on myself just to make sure that I can see.
As you open it, you just see a pool, a square pool of lava.
Huh.
Hey, it's just magma, man.
I did not expect this.
I suppose we are technically underground, so it is magma, isn't it?
All right, so Overk and his double from the ceiling are going to start heading deeper inward to see if there's anything further in.
Alright. You won't hear much. Seems this particular path seems to be alright. Everyone roll initiative.
What?
They get a surprise round for being more stealthy than your passive perception.
Crap baskets.
Oh!
Oh my.
Well,
Feels bad, man.
They get unseen advantages, so they get advantage on their first attack roll. One will be attacking the Echo. The other will be attacking Overk. Echo gets hit and it's gone. Against Overk, it's swinging twice with a dagger. And it will hit White Overk. She will take quite a bit of damage. Any resistance to poison or anything? I don't know dampier stuff. Exactly.
Let me check.
Maybe there's something in there. There isn't, that's weird. Doesn't look like it. I guess you're taking some poison.
Okay, yeah. Oh. Oh dear.
Alright.
All right, so
Overk.
how much did he take?
You will be down.
Damn it!
It's fine, 'cause this is just a surprise run. As soon as they hear another set, people approaching, they will go past Overk to deal with those immediate threats. And Overk, I will need a death save from you. That's they're climbing on the walls as well.
Wait, they're spider climbing?
They're just
Are they
climbing normally.
Oh.
Surprise round's over now.
Surprise round is over now, yes.
Alright, I'll react.
Failure.
Yay.
There's your reaction.
Just the dude to my right.
Yep, and that will hit them. They will have to dash to get to where they want to be. They will be now on the floor. Check.
well, there's one right in Alma's face, but there's one that's closer to me, and I'd rather take care of that. So move the hex to him, shoot with the finger guns.
Alright.
And that is pathetic damage if it hits.
The 14 will unfortunately miss as he
That's
ducks just out
fine.
of the way.
That's fine. Just blast, we have company!
And apparently we've passed Sorgai because he didn't have his initiative up, so Sorgai can go.
Yeah, I'm lagging real bad. My laptop's running damn high because it's still a crappy one.
It's alright. I just brought you close to it. What would you like to do?
Okay, can I see any of these new Draconians we're up against?
Yes.
Okay, I guess I'll just target one of them with a firebolt.
Alright. We'll take your previous roll of 16. If you would like. Or to the 21. Let's keep the damage. 6 fire to do the one in front of Oma.
Yeah, I guess I'll take the first roll better.
Record went Olo.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. Overk, is your actual token the topmost one?
Yes. Overk would never be caught dead or alive, but mostly dead in lava.
Does your echo dissipate when you go unconscious?
Yes, it's just there for when he summons it again because
Okay, just double
it's
checking.
it's honestly more of a hassle to have to put everything back on it again.
You've been healing worded.
Yay. He's nettled.
And then, because I'm pretty sure I can still use a cantrip, I will
Yep.
primal savagery on the thing in front of me.
Correct
Alright.
me if I'm wrong, but Olo, you're a life cleric, right?
Yep.
So you should be more than 4 healing then. Yeah?
That is
No, it's
correct.
because it rolled a 1.
Right, but it should be the D4 plus your wisdom plus another like 3.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, no, you're correct. I guess
It's
I
actually
had that
7.
input wrong. Thank you for
You actually
catching that.
healed for 7.
Woo, 3 more health. Thank you.
Alright, primal savagery. That will unfortunately miss.
Fair enough.
Oma.
I'm gonna move behind him and dodge, end my turn here.
These stealthy draconians start swinging the one on Oma at disadvantage. Fails to hit twice. And against Olo, hits once. Once. Haha. You will take 10 damage total, 4 piercing, 6 poison. Overkill awake. On the floor, but awake.
The attack will be coming from the echo that he summoned using his bonus action.
Half of your movement would have to be standing up, so you would have 15 feet of movement.
Oh.
So the echo can still absolutely get to there, though.
The echo could still get to there and you
True.
could switch or some. But can you switch right now? I don't know. I don't recognize.
No, it takes your bonus action to switch, and it takes your bonus action to summon. So, but he could just attack through the echo at no cost. So,
That's
And
also true.
once the echo is summoned, it does have its own movement speed of up to 30. It just has to be within 30 feet of him. So he'll
Yep.
have it move its maximum distance that it can be from him, and then that shank will happen for 4 damage, assuming that a
Yep.
15 hits.
It does it.
Excellent. Pass turn.
Sargaic. Firebolt, the one that's probably the most injured,
That's right.
and it is bloodied.
That'll be the end of my turn because I don't really got any bonus actions I can make use of.
well,
Jack.
as much as Jack likes to stack damage, it does not seem he wants to keep getting his hex damage. So he's going to use his bonus action to put a hex blade to curse on the same one he's got hexed.
Alright.
And then he will fire another Eldritch Blast.
Unfortunate.
Man. Okay. That's the turn.
Nice today. Ola.
Let's see. I fixed that. How is everyone feeling for health?
Other than Overk?
I'm at full health and with +2 temporary HP due to my arcane ward.
Rex at about half, but he's also safely in the back.
Hold it! I just remembered. Overk should have never been downed because he still had his death ward. He would have been at 1.
You gotta remind me sometimes.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Kind of
We'll
forgot
just
you
say
had
it
that.
didn't go off then.
Let's bump him up 1 more hit point.
It's okay. I
Okay,
still would have cast healing on you, so.
So if we say that it didn't go off, does that mean he still has it?
We'll say you still have it and it didn't go off.
Okay,
Since I
everyone
forgot about it.
remember that we all have death ward.
How
You
about
will not
put-
die at the first hit that would make you die.
I'll put that token on you, and then that will make me remember better.
Oh yeah, which one was it again? The broken heart?
No, it's the angelic wings. Makes me help remember a lot better.
Oh, neat.
Okay. I would like to use my bonus action to expend 1 use of Balm of the Summer Court.
Is it okay if I use the chain heart icon to indicate that my temporary HP?
Personally, I just use one of the other bars.
All of the summer quartz. Alright. And did you spend the dice on? Pop it over.
Yep. On Overt, so he'll get just another 2 hit points and 1 temporary hit point.
Hey.
And then I will attempt another Primal Savagery on the weird thing in front of me.
Right. Their skills look more dark to better blend in with the darkness. That's why Over got ambushed very easily. 16 hits it for 2 acid.
Better than none. And I'll leave it there.
Oma.
Yeah, I'll dodge again. End turn.
Alright, Over. You're not at 1, you're at 7, 8, 9. Is that correct?
9 and 1.
9 and 1. But anyway, against Polo, who's going in front of him. 2 dagger attacks, both miss against the Echo first, which will miss twice. Over, your turn.
I am slightly nettled that the temp HP isn't showing up on a secondary bar like it normally does.
You have to put a 1 in the other number slot.
Oh,
Cogwheel
oops.
into bar 2.
Okay, got it. So, yes. Overk will move over here. The Echo will move to here, allowing it to move while it's still within range, so no op attack. And then the Echo will swing for 12 damage.
That will definitely hit. And just put a nasty gash in its backside.
Aw, it's still alive. Lame. Pass turn.
Sir Gike. Actually, the 12 will miss as it hits the wall right next to the Draconian. Check.
Same one. My doubly cursed friend is getting more finger guns. And whiffing again. That has to be Jack's whole turn.
Man, these rolls today. Ola.
Yeah, we're really rolling bad. And
I want
for
to share the love a
whatever.
little bit. No, Overt needs it still. Yeah, I'll use my other bomb on the Summercorn on him.
So 2 more HP regain and 1 more temp HP.
It's 5 HP
5.
followed by 1. And it doesn't, you don't gain more temporary hit points.
Oh,
Yeah,
pity.
last I checked, anything that if you have temporary hit points and you get hit by something that gives you temporary hit points, the new temporary hit points override the old.
You get to
That's
pick
which-
whether you keep the old or the new.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be whichever one's the higher amount is what I remember. But
Higher
that
amount,
begs,
usually.
that begs the question, is it a static 1 temp HP or could it be higher depending on the roll?
Static.
So
Static
noted.
1, yeah. That's, and then your action?
Another just primal.
Alright. 14, you will find out, will also miss as it just barely narrowly dodges out of the way.
Shoot. Alright, next.
Boom. Dodging.
Nah, he went for the echo. I'm gonna put a mind sliver on this dude in front of me.
Alright. It's safe. Fails, takes 3 psychic, and it is almost dead.
Alright, end turn.
It will attempt to attack Oma. Or set no proc.
That's a good. Yeah, he would, because he's within range of just over it.
Please kill it.
Over. Make sure you hit your push to talk or you're not muted.
Oh, is it my turn?
No, I'm just saying it's trying to attack Oma.
So
Oh,
your reaction
shank.
is, yeah, your reaction is on board.
Yes.
Yay.
From
Alright,
the
and it's dead.
Echo's position.
And it's dead because of that.
I figured it was a small amount that was left.
And then it gets Ola. Both miss as it scratches the turtle shell. Over. Your turn.
Wait, did that thing just hurt Olo?
No.
It tried
Like
to.
on a previous turn?
Nope.
Yeah.
Well,
It
yeah,
did,
but
yeah. Olo did get hit once in a previous turn, but that was a while ago.
Shank. 5 damage. Glare menacingly. Pass turn.
18 hits for 5. Anything else?
No. Pass turn. Was my push to talk not working for a bit there?
Sorry, I was someone was calling my name and I got distracted a bit.
Oh, that's what it was. It's cool. Happens to me too.
Sir Geiger. Seventeen hits for 6. Nothing else. Check.
I'd really like to hit this thing at least once. Let's see.
Right.
Okay,
Well-
okay. Refresh my memory. What was it you said about adding a secondary hit point bar for temporary HP?
Exactly that.
Um,
Another hit bar that you were able to track.
If you click on your token, then you click on the gear, you can open a menu. You can pick bar 1 or 2, since those aren't used for HP, and you can make it a THP bar.
but in order to have it
Yeah,
show
I'm
up,
kind of using those for armor class and passive perception, to be honest with you.
That's just the default. That's what we have you put on your token as a, or that's how the advisors do it as a default. Honestly, I've long since passed that.
Yeah, because it's in all our names.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I guess I'll just use the blue bar for my temp HP.
just remember that in order for it to show up on the map so that you can see it without having to select your token, you will have to put in a max amount.
Yep.
In any case, Jack hit it for 10, and that's his turn.
Yep. And it is bloodied. Ola.
Yeah, that works just fine. Besides, it's at the moment my max HP would technically be a 10 on account of how Arcane Ward works.
Yep. Let's see. Olo. YOLO.
A
Look at that.
She angy.
Right. As you dig your primal claws into this thing, it's looking very bloodied. Anything else you'd like to do? Not, it will go to Oma.
nope.
Firebolt.
Nice.
And you do just enough to scorch it and burn it to cinders.
Aw,
Is that-
man. I was gonna feed off of that. Oh well.
Thanks, guys.
Creature dies with my Hexblade's curse on it. I gain some HP.
Nice.
Alright.
Very. Huh.
Honestly, the less
Hexblade.
doctoring I have to do, the better.
Yes, well, it's quite handy when I'm sitting on the back anyway, since you all seem quite melee oriented for the most part.
I just
Okay.
happen to be a little chuffy, you know?
Oh, it's no complaint. I'm happy when I don't have to put my neck on the line.
So were those just hidey holes, or are there doors there?
Those were just little indent, like side bits. There's no doors
Alcoves, you
there.
mean?
There's a door in front of you.
He will wait for everyone to more or less be close by this time before opening the door. And
Yeah, I'd like to be placed 15 feet behind Overk, just to be on the safe side.
Hey,
That way
And-
I'll have more than enough range to hit anything that shows up right in front of him.
hey, Overk, I think you used all your berries, so here's one of mine.
no,
No,
you hold
man,
on to that for when you need it.
you
Hello?
forget that it's like just an extra healing potion, man.
Olo, we've had this conversation before. You need to be able to look after yourself too. The shell won't protect you from everything, as that last fight just proved.
You know, I think the cleric has a point. If she is knocked unconscious, you won't be able to use her berries on herself. Someone else will have to have them.
I mean, you can. You just gotta know which pocket they're in, man.
Suppose that's fair. You
I'm
have
opening this
pockets?
door now. Opens the door.
Oh boy.
Sorta. You see my sash? I got like a thing there.
Do you want me to open the door? I'll open the door.
Yes.
Alright. I'll open the door.
As
Wait,
you
don't tell me
go-
it's lava.
Wave of lava crashes through the door. Nah.
We
That
need
would
to
be
get
such a
one,
dick
too.
move. All
Sounds like
right,
we're
we
What's
both
got
your
another
way?
Indiana
mechanism.
Yep,
Jones.
a mechanism.
All right, we got another mechanism. No enemies seem to be here. Anyone that's good at investigating or perceiving things.
I'll take a look at it again. How's the
Well,
condition of this one?
well, that too, but also let's take a look at the rest of the room in case there's anything of note.
Yeah, if this mechanism is in similar shape as the last one, let's give it a couple minutes of whamming it with the mending.
It is in similar shape, yes.
Okay.
Okay, mendings galore.
Have fun, gentlemen, ladies.
It's in
Not
this
too
room.
often I get to heal things so in depth, man. You know what I'm saying?
It is rather different, yes. Anyone who's particularly good at spotting or finding things want to take a closer look at the room for if there's anything else in here? And Overk would also offer to help anyone who's doing that for the mechanical advantage roll.
Mhm.
Well, I imagine that even with me using mending on it over and over again, I'd still be able to, if they give it a look through, see if there's anything I can find. So, I guess I'll
Yep.
give it a shot.
Investigation advantage, perception advantage. Investigation for the mechanism, perception for looking at the room. Or perception, whichever one you want to use. Or investigate. Whatever. With an 18, you know that, of course, mechanism, it, like the previous ones, it probably either opens a pathway or unlocks a certain route. You know it's not connected to the central area. You think it's connected toward the vault room.
Do I know which direction opens and which one is for closing?
Not on this end.
I see. You know what? I think I'd like to use my bonus action to call up my familiar.
Huh?
Said familiar takes the form of an owl, which I will then use to see through the eyes of as he takes a fly through of the central chamber to see if there are any other doors that might not be opened as of yet.
The only other door that isn't open is the one that leads directly north from the mechanism.
And is that one still flooded with lava in front of
That's
it?
when we left it.
Well, back to the central mechanism to lower the lava again.
That's
Did
where
someone
we'll
already
go.
check these bodies?
Oh
Jack's
yeah,
going
let's
to, just to be on the safe side while they're doing all that stuff.
Sure.
yeah, let's see if they have anything that might be useful. Keys, standing orders, possibly
Before-
healing potions.
Before
You-
that, has anyone done the advantage roll for perception to see if there's anything else of note in the crankshaft room?
Nope.
I guess I'll
Dean.
give it a shot.
Dean, do you want any roll for checking the bodies?
No. Not really.
I mean, yeah, I'll give it a quick peek, but you guys probably got it.
If you want to do another roll for Olo, since it would be an advantage with
Yeah.
overkelping.
You will find certain alchemical components within this room. You think this is where they stashed the more needed to be safely put in shelves substances.
Yeah,
what,
man,
like,
these
alchemist
cans.
fire, acid, or something like that.
More like just alchemist supplies or crafting packs. Upon the draconian sneaky creatures,
Mhm.
you'll find poison or certain poisonous vials that you would be able to realize that were also a part of their daggers.
Interesting.
Ah,
Part
yes.
of the dagger. Can you elaborate on that for me?
Um,
I think he's
that
talking about the
were
poison dagger magic item. It has
no, no,
a
no, no,
little.
no, no, no. It's the weapons were coated in this poison.
Okay. Does the poison still appear to be on these daggers?
Not anymore upon their death, but you do know that they use they have vials from what they were able to find on their bodies.
Mhm.
There is a total of 2.
2. Okay. Jack will pocket those. So take what? Object interaction to use them? Action?
It will be an action.
Okay. That's fair. And they'll stay on there for some amount of time.
Huh?
Cool. He will pocket both of those.
So then you guys go back to the central chamber.
Yep.
Um,
We turn to the
I
central chamber and give the wheel another turn.
I'm assuming we would pick up the alchemist supplies before we head back.
I'd assume so. I'll just add it to the pile of stuff.
Hey, who turned out
Yeah,
the
I
lights?
guess. Even if we can't make use of them ourselves, I imagine we could at least get a pretty penny for selling them.
All right. everyone's safe, everyone's ready. Crank number 3, let's go.
Crank number 3.
Gosh darn, that's quite a bit.
Hmm.
You'll feel that as you try to push it further and further down, you feel that this is the final crank of this mechanism.
I was wondering if there was another one after this. Noted. All right. About how far down is that part of the landing, by the way?
About 20 feet down.
Okay. So staying up here and trying to shoot at things through that door is probably not advisable.
Correct.
All right. Well, now or never.
One moment, let's allow me to send a little scout ahead, and I proceed to use my owl familiar to check and see if there are any other surprises waiting for us down there.
I mean, we have to open the door first, yes?
Side.
You have to open the door first, yes.
Well, before
Yes,
that,
but it never hurts to make sure that but it never hurts to check and see if there might be an ambush waiting for us on the bottom floor before we even get the door open.
well, before any of that, I would like to have Overk use his not action surge, use his second wind to get a bit more HP.
Smart move.
My bookish friend, I believe you may be perhaps a bit overly cautious in this situation. Anything that was down here was under the lava before, and frankly, if it could survive that, I'm not sure we could deal with it.
Overk just looks over at him and says, Yeah, I'll be sure to share that with the enemies we just killed.
I meant about him investigating the landing with his owl before we opened the door.
Mm.
Better safe
Open
than
sesame.
sorry, if you ask my opinion.
Before
I
you
suppose
open
that
the
is
door,
a fair philosophy.
before you open the door, you hear shouting from within. And Draconic, so only Oma can hear it. Oh, not hear it,
Shouting
but
from where?
inside the doorway. Where else?
Overk will pause and say, Okay, there's some guys in there. Prepare for combat.
Apparently they've been sealed in. What do you know?
What are they shouting? Briefly?
Oma will be able to hear from the other side and a bit more muffled. Open door, brutes. Made 4.
It appears that whoever was appears that our final enemy in here was trapped in this trap down there.
Overk takes a
Open
moment
door, brutes, made 4. It's muffled, so those are the words you're able to point out.
Well, I can't discern anything from that.
I imagine, if you, does Oma tell us those statements?
Of course.
I imagine that likely the end of this vault is in there. They're trying to break in without using the mechanisms we already discovered. If they were next to this door, it would be significantly louder, most likely.
Although how they managed to get into an alternative path is quite the mystery to me. Yeah.
It's almost
More
like there might have been a
structures
secret door somewhere.
Why, do you think they found a back door hidden in there somewhere?
Seems counterintuitive for the design of a vault.
Agreed. Usually vaults only have one way in or out.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but
Unless, of course, they tunneled their way in from another direction.
Could simply be that the guards we killed at the start had reset the traps behind them so no one would follow, since that was their job.
Yeah, that is another possibility, though I find it rather amusing that their boss would have forgotten to mention when to open When to let them back out again?
Are you guys going to get ready to fight or not? I'm about to open this door.
Well, I've been ready,
Yeah,
dear.
I'll
Don't
be
get your
sta-
knickers in a twist.
Okay,
I
how?
don't wear those.
What's the distance? Okay,
That
what's the
must
difference
pinch
between
horribly,
the?
then.
What's the difference between the edge of the platform with the central mechanism and the vault door at the bottom?
20
23.
feet.
You wouldn't have a clear shot of anything through the doorway.
Overk
Well,
will open the
I guess I'll
door.
be going down with to join everybody down at the bottom floor.
Open the door.
Overk will open the door using his echo.
I'll dodge instead.
I should open the door. We hear the disgruntled Draconian Oma as he's already in mid casting of his spell. As he just grunts and just says in Draconic as he's leaving. Whatever, just open the door whenever you can. I'll be right back. As he's already gone.
Do we have a surprise round?
No, you guys weren't exactly quiet.
True.
As
Well, I
you,
don't
you
think
see
they're
that all the
expecting us
Draconians
to
were already
show up.
looking at you guys. Since they were facing him.
Initiative it is, then.
Initiative it is.
Yep.
Oh, they don't want to talk.
Nope. They don't want that. You guys know what this one is, so you don't know. One, two, three, four, five. Give us everyone. Sorcadin.
Well, with the bonus action, I'll dismiss my familiar for now. Oh, and then fire off at the one that Draconian I can clearly see with a firebolt.
Alright. That will hit for 9 fire. That is it. Check.
Well, let's see. Scoot over a little. All right. Which one just got hit by a firebolt?
Closest one.
All right. Well, Hex had an hour, so let's put him on there and give him the finger guns.
All right.
Man, I got to get this thing recalibrated or something. That said, Jack's going to scoot back a little up the stairs to be able to have a harder target, and that's his turn.
This big one. See, this one just wore out as it. You can see that this one, although all these Draconians do have wings, this one has large enough wings to make it give it the ability to fly with its massive weight as it gets to there. And we'll attempt to attack Overk's Echo first, which will hit the Echo, and Echo is gone. And then Oma. Both will miss Oma. He swings a very large sword, and the third attack seems to be using a tail. As he will step away to be over here. Oh. Yeah, it'll be like right there when you try to take an opportunity attack.
I'm not gonna react.
Okay.
Opportunity attack for sure.
Okay.
Ow.
Oh, get there. Olo.
Well, that's a pretty big boy. I guess on this one here, I'm just gonna toll the dead.
On that one there. Okay. Let's see. No one did that, so it will pass.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna tuck myself back in this corner.
Foot soldiers. Hey, I'll move up. This one will have to dash, and so will the other one. This one has half cover against Oma, who's also at disadvantage. Those miss. Then the one at Overk. It's Overk once for 3 piercing. The other 2 will keep attacking Oma at disadvantage. Both miss. Oma, your turn.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll hold fast, dodge, and turn.
Overk.
Summon Echo. And Overk is going to attack the one in front of him.
Might I recommend you also move 1 square to the right so that I can fire off a cone spell at these guys?
He will do that after having finished his failed attack. Although he
Yep.
doesn't feel great about leaving the way open for them to come on through.
Anything else?
No, down to Sergei.
Sorry, Running hands only hits the 3 draconians. Dex saves.
Oh wait,
Not a
hang on. I need to
disadvantage.
move Overk's thing as well, so it won't get hit.
It's not a creature, not an object. Fire and that gets anything.
Huh?
It's also not a flammable object. It's considered like a magical, non-flammable object.
Wait,
It's
so it
weird.
won't get hit and killed by it?
It's
No,
not a
most
creature.
AoEs don't work on it.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Is it-
busted.
I mean, it's usually fixed by just killing the fighter, so.
Right, and it only has 1 HP, so it'd be kind of a bummer if like a fireball auto killed it.
Anyway, all of them passed, unfortunately, and they all only take 6 fire.
Will Sergei be taking Sergei be taking a step to the left so that Overk can block them again? Oh wait, never mind. He can't do that without opening the way for them. Shit.
They can just diagonally move. Okay.
Yep, as a result, Sergei will be staying here, but then... what the heck, I guess I'll re-summon my familiar next to me with a... to the left of me with a bonus action, and said familiar will then proceed to act as a distraction against...
Could be wrong, but I
Yes,
think summoning your familiar is an action.
It is an
no.
action.
You're sure it's not a bonus action like how Overk summons his echoes?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it's an action, just because I've been playing Petrus for so long, and that's why I never dismiss my owls. I don't want to skip a turn to dismiss it or to resummon it.
Action.
Oh, never mind.
Dismiss. Action.
I would have had to use an action to dismiss the familiar in the first place, so...
That's true.
Yeah. So I guess I never did dismiss it in the first place, and it was just floating there. They're looking stupid.
Menacingly.
Anything else on your turn?
Well, the owl is now going to start there screeching and edging at the nearest draconian, acting as a distraction to give everybody an advantage on attack rolls against it.
Only on 1 attack. But okay. Anything else?
Nope, that'll be...
Check.
Scoot over. Which one's got my hex on him?
It will be this one.
Ah. Oh, there you are, friends. My shots haven't been particularly lucky, but now or never.
With his half cover, it will miss.
That's fair. That said, this seems like a big-ish fight, and so as that happens, Jack's just gonna, slap Sergiak on the back and say, "You got this, old man." Give him a bardic inspiration.
Alright.
And then it took him 15 to get there, so he's gonna scoot back for 15, and that's his turn.
This big boy's turn. Goes right here. Attacks the annoying echo. Hit the annoying echo as this goes away. Move right there. Attacks Oma.
Can't move there. It's not 2 sizes larger. It would have to move behind it.
It can still, it's just difficult terrain.
Oh,
You just can't end your turn in
right.
it.
I thought you couldn't take actions in an ally's space either.
No. You can still do it in my opinion. You just can't end your
You're the
turn.
DM. It's your call.
IMO, you just can't end your turn in it, because then, weird stuff, unless you're mounted. Whatever.
Wouldn't that technically mean that as soon as this big guy moves out of the way, Oma's gonna have access to an opportunity attack?
Yeah, if she chooses.
And possibly Overk as well? No, Overk cannot see it.
No, you can't see it, dude.
Lame. Oh well.
Alright, misses Oma twice. Moves back.
Actually, yeah, why not?
Go ahead.
Just ignore the booming part of it. No, never mind.
You're looking for Gauntlets of Ogre Power, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I looked at that character. Ola.
Okay, let's see. There's 5 of us. I'm gonna try to be just a little cheeky.
Okay.
And I'm gonna use a 2nd level slot so I can get the rest of you.
Nice.
One person will be left out unless you're not putting yourself into it.
I'm not. I'm just doing everyone else.
Okay, so everyone else has Bless. Gotcha.
And then I'm gonna back the fuck up once more.
Alright.
Make it twice.
What's orders?
So is that a semi-permanent thing, or does it disappear after it's been used?
1 minute.
It's 1 minute.
Yeah, your character sheet
Nice.
should have a plus that you can click on.
I hit it. We're going to use it for global attack modifiers.
Yeah, that's how they'll move. Right. 2 against Oma at disadvantage.
Oh, he can push through there. I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm. Both will miss Oma, or 4 will miss Oma. These 2 will attack.
No,
Jack.
no, he's getting shanked.
Okay. This one will.
Or not.
I mean, he's still gonna do it regardless, but you have to kill him to stop that from happening. Against Sergiak and Jack. Jack will get hit for 7 piercing.
Jackal shield.
Jack will not get hit for 7 piercing. Oma.
Yeah, Sergiak will also shield if it turns out that the attack roll against him is less than 19.
No. You don't need a shield. Unless you've been hit, I will tell you otherwise.
Okay.
Oma.
Yeah, dodging, end turn.
Gotcha. Over.
Is there anything here, or is it just ground?
There's something there's now.
Oh, okay, so that would be difficult terrain. Never mind. Overk's just going to summon his Echo there, and then he's going to have his Echo attack this annoying dingus. But before that, I do have a question. If I were to have Overk just kind of like dip his blade into the lava, like in a quick sort of slashing motion, would that allow it to gain extra burning damage for the attack?
Give you 1 fire damage.
Would it do anything to the weapon?
No. Since it will be used
Okay,
up temporarily.
he's gonna do that then. Just
Well, as long as you're fast about it.
he's going to real quick dip his blade into the lava and pull it out before anything bad can happen to it. And his echo's going to attack. And since it acts as him attacking from the echo space, mechanically speaking, it'll still get the extra fire damage.
And since the owl is right next to it, you're getting advantage on that roll.
Not on this one.
Oh, not on this one? Dang, I was gonna crit fish too. Alright, then just the 18 to hit and 12 slashing damage plus 1 fire damage.
Oops. That's whatever. Anything else?
He will stare menacingly.
Actually, no, it would have been on that one, so that would have been crit fishing anyway. Oh, rolled the same. Sarcastic. Also, the help action only helps on one attack, not everything.
Ah.
Well, Owl helps to provide. Owl provides assistance in attacking the Draconian on my left, whom I will proceed to try and smack with the Warhammer.
Heads, and he said. Anything else? If not, check.
Well, there looks like there's a hole that needs to be plugged. And Jack's the only one with a turn to do it.
Yeah, I'll take a 5-foot step to the left as the end of my turn.
Okay.
There's another hole that needs to be
Yep,
plugged.
now there's a hole where you were.
I'm
There's a limit.
aware.
So Jack will scoot to here. He'll move all the way up. All right, tired of this. We're ending this now. And rather than take a swing, he'll bring his hands to his lips like he's going to whistle. There is total silence to everyone else, except this gentleman, who's going to be the target of a dissonant whisper.
Wisdom save. Right.
Nice.
Wisdom save for the dissonant whisper.
Alright. It will take attacks of opportunity.
Yep. So 8 psychic, and it provokes op attacks from all of my friends here.
So we'll go from right side. Guy
And-
first, miss, followed by Jack.
I was going to say, I will absolutely, and because I'm a warcaster, I will take my attack of opportunity with a booming blade.
Gotcha. That's also a miss. 14 will hit, says that's enough to just kill it.
Sweet. And now that that's been plugged, but Jack doesn't have any AC boosts left anymore, so that is going to be, he will just look over at Overick and be like, you better be taking care of that, and give him his last bardic inspiration.
Okay.
That's the turn.
Pleasure.
He will move to there. He will attack Oma at disadvantage. Since you are in the way. Fail. And we're back.
Now I'll react once.
Alright.
Just the slash. I'm gonna smite with the level 2 spell slot.
Gotcha.
3d8 radiant, unless he's a big boy or undead or fiend. I doubt it, but
Nope.
Smite with a level 2 spell slot? What are you?
I'm Sorcadin.
Last I checked, he was a paladin.
The level of the spellcasting paladin plus the 2 levels of sorcerer.
Gotcha.
equals
Gets the
level
second
spell
gets the second one slot. I was
It's
sitting here
all
doing the
good.
mental math on that poorly.
She is level 4. Okay, that's
Oh,
fine. Hold
almost
on.
only a first level paladin and second level sorcerer, huh? Or is that
What?
2 for each?
Two for each, yeah. You don't get spellcasting until level 2 with Paladin, so
You also just don't get smite until level 2 of Paladin.
that too.
I'm
It's just
concerned where
those
that
spell slots.
big one went.
Okay, so that means a 10 hit point pool of lay on hands. Okay.
I'm gonna toll the dead on the injured one. Most injured.
Most injured left. Gotcha. Wisdom save. Anything else on your turn?
No, I'm actually gonna wait it out right here.
Right. He actually fails. With the owl right there. Foot soldier. Not having much progress with Oma. Can't attack. Once it's gonna come over here and try to attack Jack. Overcrit uses his reaction.
Would the reaction have already been used for the previous attack of opportunity?
Yep.
I figured as much.
Against Oma. Alright. Oma.
Did Jack get hit?
Nope.
Lovely.
Same thing. Dodge enter.
Well, my good rolls are at the beginning of this game. Over.
Slashy, slashy. Really? Again? Pass turn.
Back.
Okay, with Owl's assistance, I'll try to smack this Draconian in the face with my Warhammer at advantage.
Alright. It's for 6. It is bloody.
And that's it for my turn.
Jack.
Jack can only reach one, so that's who he's swinging for. No hex bonus, but we'll see what we get. And it will, of course, always be a booming blade.
Yep. That hits as you kill him.
Fantastic. That said, Jack is not going to move up. He is content right where he is. That's his turn.
Right. You will attempt to attack Oma. One more time. There's a hit. Oma gets it.
Well, is it a non-crit?
It is a non-crit.
Is it shieldable from 19?
You use your... No, you didn't, because it came back. It is possibly shieldable.
I will do so.
Alright, it's shieldable. And then the tail attack. Missing. Alright.
I was saying, you guys all know he's not telling you the attack number for a reason, right? You can't just ask him if shield will work. I mean, you can ask, but
I'll let you ask. I'm not gonna give you the accurate number. Alright, Olo.
Yeah, I'm gonna make an
Wisdom
attempt to try to
save.
finish off that smaller one.
Alright, so wisdom save. Olo's dead. That be all.
Yep.
Oma, since none of the foot soldiers are alive.
Okay. Well. Guess I'll move here and same thing. Dodge enter.
Overk.
Overk has had enough of this. He and his clone, moving as one, will move to the walls as they go from where they currently are to here. And then this one will go here, while Overk... Actually, no, it'll go here, while Overk goes here. And Overk is going to unleash Action Surge plus Unleash Incarnation for
That's
a
right.
multi-shank. Boom, 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 boom. Is it dead?
you didn't you already use a unleash earlier?
He has
I
up
used
to his
it
con
once.
mod.
I can use it up to 3 times
Oh,
because
yeah.
3 is my con bonus.
I always forget that people have con bonuses above 14s.
He also
Yep.
only gets 3 attacks. So the fourth one doesn't exist.
No. How Unleash Incarnation works is each time I attack, I can choose to use one of my per long rest resources to
He gets to
have
use
my
it twice
echo.
because he action surged.
Ah,
Yes,
you have a 3-con mod?
I do.
Okay, that's all I need to know. In which case, that'll hit. Oh, wait. Does that one hit?
So
Yes. But it doesn't. So the
two of
15 doesn't
those are.
hit. Everything else hits.
Is it dead?
You have a bardic inspiration still.
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna use the Bardic Inspiration on the one that didn't hit. Let's go.
Sure. Why not? So no, do it before you know the thing, but I don't want to cover at this point.
I repeat my earlier question. Is it dead?
Oh yeah, it's dead. I do want to do it.
I'm just gonna have Overk and his Echo walk up to it, same blank expression on their faces, and then you can't hear the Echo speak because obviously it doesn't, but it does the same mouth motions as he simply says, "Die." And then in a flurry of slashes, cutting it to pieces and just standing there and flinging its blood off of his blade as it begins to fall apart as it falls to the floor.
I imagine those wings of its are the first to go.
And we're out of initiative.
This last bit was satisfying. The rest
Oh,
of it.
one more thing. As it does. Everyone make me a DC. Everyone make me a dex save. Owl dies.
Had a feeling.
Uh-oh.
Never
It was
mind. Owl
about
doesn't
time we
die.
got to the draconians that blow up.
I was
Never mind,
dead.
Owl doesn't die.
Like I gonna say, I was dodging when it died.
Yeah, you were dodging, so. Alright. The owl is fine.
Okay,
It's not in
so
range. Although you're also fine, you're not in range. Everyone else needs to do it though. Does it target objects? No, it doesn't. So it's technically fine. Over.
how bad is it, Doc? give me the
See.
news.
First, let's do the ones that pass. Sir Geik and Oma, you both pass, so you take half of this. As for the others, you take the full amount of damage. That's kind of funny. The ones that fail takes 18 fire because I rolled 3 sixes. The rest take 9. Those that pass.
That's
As
just
it's
enough to
fiery
put
death.
Jack on his butt.
As it's fiery death.
Oh, right, but I've got a
Burst
death ward.
But yes, you do have death ward.
Yep, the
You only
death
have one
ward
hit.
saves you from being knocked out of action, so you're just down to 1 hit point.
As he
Overk
is
just
reduced to ashes.
Overk just maintains the same stoning expression and just stands there unflinching as this explosion goes off. Last act of a dying coward.
Jack doesn't see the explosion because Over's not reacting, and so he gets hurt too.
I mean, to be fair, I actually could see that being a thing due to how bad the deck save was.
Anyway.
Yeah, well,
Ow.
I'm pleased to report that I only took 7 points of actual damage because it just knocked out the minus 2 temp hit points.
Alright.
Ow. Well, in any case, that combat music still needs to be going, Lean.
Sorry, I don't hear it sometimes.
It's
It
okay.
doesn't play on my end.
I just wanted to make sure that we weren't like still in initiative before I started doing things.
Yeah.
5 hit points to
Well-
Jack, 5 hit points to Overk.
Relative silence.
Well, first order of business, we loot the bodies at ease.
They are reduced to ashes as soon as he dies.
Oh, they're not even their weapons left behind, huh?
It's quite the fearsome explosion. Not particularly surprised. Probably knocked half of them into the lava anyway.
So not only was it a coward in death, it was extremely petty. Typical.
I wonder
there's no doorway
about
there.
that. And with that, the guy makes an Arcana check to see if that's
I see
a
that.
normal reaction.
Gentlemen, I don't know about you, but if there's fighting on the surface, I need a breather.
A rest does sound like a good idea before we push any deeper. Although I get the feeling that we're near the end, and that might have been the last foe we had to deal with. All the same, and he'll just let himself fall to the floor in a sitting position and just kind of slump there slightly. Despite his tough guy exterior, he clearly took a lot of damage.
Did we see a dude run out?
You saw him cast a spell and he went through it, and now he's no longer in here.
He went through what?
What looked to be a temporary portal, aka
Okay.
dimension door.
Who wants to bet he ran off with all the loot?
It's possible. Or he's coming back at some point. Perhaps we should try to get this door open rather than resting the more I think on it.
Very well. I can soldier on as needed. Right then, let's have two of our least injured comrades handle the mechanisms. I'll remain here to see if anything aside from door opening happens.
Okay, then I guess who would those be? Isagaik and Olo, maybe?
Hey, yeah,
Whichever
come on,
two.
man.
You both go to the separate mechanisms. You don't need to move. What you say? You do it.
Actually, Oma would have less damage than Sergaic right now, and more health overall.
So Oma and Ola
Fair enough.
again. Same thing. You don't need to move. We'll turn the mechanisms. You will hear something open inside, but you won't see the door open.
And the rest of us see the vault door open, yeah?
No, you don't see the vault door open. You hear something inside the vault open.
Maybe we have to push it manually.
You also
He'll-
see that they have been beating down, or at least the larger Draconian was beating down this door for a while now.
Push.
Does it look like it's locked in any way?
You would assume so.
Is there any dwarven script around here?
Not in this vault room. That would be very foolish of them to tell you how to open this door.
Alright, on the off chance that it's the
Who said
obvious.
anything about them giving instructions? It could have been a message about about the origins of about the clan of origin or something like that.
There's
At the
nothing
risk
about
of
here.
the obvious, what's the dwarvish word for friend?
I guess the guy will.
Jack would answer that question. He speaks Dwarvish.
Does him saying friend in dwarvish do anything to the door?
No.
Okay.
Speaking a word.
Then
Does
hang
anyone
on.
have a set of lockpicks? No? Lovely.
Okay,
Sorry,
so
but no.
I'm
Let's
what
get an
if
investigation.
what if it's spoken in Elven instead? Still nothing?
Oh, nothing.
Huh. Well, there goes the most obvious.
Jack's going to examine the door. You said it appears to be locked. Is there an obvious lock on the outside?
Not on the outside.
Okay. And I'm assuming we can take.
Have that thing of bardic inspiration.
You do.
And did that 14 do anything to figure out how to open this door?
I don't think you know that answer until you use the bardic inspiration. I don't know.
Let me check.
I
I
don't know.
think it
need-
is after you roll, but before you know the results. I think you are correct.
Okay, so what? Okay, so which die am I rolling for the bardic inspiration?
D6.
Yeah, you need to know whether or not you cannot know whether or not the roll succeeds or fails. You have to roll it beforehand. So 15.
I guess.
This door is not open like any other door. The mechanisms on the side rooms, you since they had draconians on on each section, you could determine whether that's they already tried doing that and they opened something inside. There's a different mechanism that opens this door.
Hmm.
Does the mechanism spin if I leave it alone?
No, we don't know where
No.
the mechanism is.
This
Oh, we don't know
this
where it
one
is,
in
but
particular,
we're
you
at it.
don't know where it is in this room.
Might want to check this room to see if we can find any hidden mechanisms for opening the vault.
Seems odd that they might hide it here. We know it's not the main mechanism, though that would be my initial assumption, because it was raised fully and they still weren't able to open it.
Overk would assist with the search to give advantage on the roll.
Please
Although
don't make
we'll
me make
slowly
the
shuffle
perception
around the
check
room.
because I don't have proficiency in pro.
Okay, Oma, thank you.
perception.
Yeah, I was going
As
to
you
say.
step there, you hear a click.
Yep. Makes
Who did
sense.
what?
Spread out.
Overk
Click.
is going to have his echo go here
Seriously,
while
pressure
maintaining
plates.
distance.
I guess the guy will move to a corner and stand on the pressure plate.
Does it have a weight?
Good question. Do echoes have a weight?
No,
I
they
would
do
not
not.
think so. No, it doesn't. So it doesn't do anything when your echo steps on that.
Shoot. Okay, then
Well, then the dwarf is taking the echo's place on the plate.
that's fine.
Cool. Door opens.
Overk and his echo will continue to stand visual, and no enemies yet. Okay, treasure
Jack steps
room's
off his
clear.
slate.
Overk
Treasure
immediately
plate.
gets trapped in there.
Nope. It stays open.
Okay.
Okay, so we don't
Oh,
have
well.
to be standing here. We don't have to keep standing here for keeping the door open. Good to
You
know.
see in this room a bunch of course, the gold coins and whatnot, and the mechanisms you can see from flanking on both sides are attached to the actual latches onto this one, which opens it, and inside you can see the three objects of the dragon,
Jack will scoop
engraved
them.
with dragon image.
How big are these things?
They're quite big, but you are able to put them in like a pack or whatever.
Yeah, Jack will just put them all in his pack.
Okay, people. Oh, fire the history checks to see if we can recognize which dragon these things are depicting.
I have a question real quick. Is this just window dressing, or is there actual piles of gold hanging around there?
It's possible.
Yeah, there was like 500 gold in here.
Overk
Yeah.
looks over to Sir Gaik and says, given that the people who built this place are no longer here, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna call it what it is. I'm gonna do a bit of grave robbing. And then he
Back to
takes
your old
some
ways,
gold.
I see.
Well, we can't exactly call it grave robbing, since this is not actually a tomb, now is it?
Fair enough. And Jack,
We
what
certainly
do
did
you
just
know
make
of
it
my
a
old
tomb.
ways?
Combine that with the fact that it's clearly been abandoned for some time, I don't think anybody's going to complain too much.
Maybe. Let's just get all of this in a sack or something and get out of here. Hopefully our guide is still alive.
Agreed, let's start packing stuff away.
I could get like some of that good kush.
Olo, medical supplies.
Yeah, that's what I said, man.
Anyway,
Personally, I think I'll be
guys-
saving my share, or when I can finally get my hands on a nice set of either full plate or even dwarven plate.
as you guys, venture out of the cult, you guys can smell the scent of a lot of blood, and definitely some feels a bit cold.
Overk immediately turns to Bremen and says, "You've been busy."
He kind of just cracks his neck. Quite.
Well,
Oh, wait. We never checked to see if there was a secret door over in the hallway. Shall we do that on our way before leaving?
you're
would
welcome
not
to
mind
if
one.
you want.
Nice.
Yeah, might as well. Oh, anyone want to lend assistance? So with that, we have advantage.
Yeah, Jack's not bothering. He's just going up.
That's fine for Jack. He won't know if he's missing out on anything.
No, man, I'm good. Maybe I can afford the ointment I really want. Gnarly.
As the rest of the guys are going up, you do find one thing, and the walls of this place. There's a crack in the wall. This is just a mental imagery at this point.
I just want to say
Okay.
that Overk would have remained behind to help with the search and see what else this place might hold.
This is the only thing you would find.
Does it look like we could crack it open a bit wider, or if there's anything hidden on the other side?
You do know that you could open it a little bit by smashing the entrance or some other method.
Right, let's swing away.
Right. Do a solid hit. As you open it, you find a very small, locked. I don't want to say chest because chest is kind of big. It's like a small lockbox. There you go.
Is it nailed
Okay.
down?
It's just in there.
No, I mean, is it nailed to the floor?
Oh, it's in the wall.
Oh, so we wouldn't be able to
Okay,
just remove it from the wall?
Yes, you can just remove it from the wall.
Oh,
Check for traps first.
There isn't anything.
Yeah, Overk would have his Echo grab it just in case, death trap.
Oh, okay. Lockbox. Inside a wall.
Is it locked?
Mm-hmm.
And since we found no keys,
You didn't find keys.
out of curiosity, could I use acid splash to melt out the lock without destroying the rest of the box or its content?
In the spell, you have to target creatures, so no. This is an object, not a creature.
Darn.
Unless it's not.
This is not. Ooh.
This whole time it was a mimic. You try to set
Okay.
down the box, you can't.
It's a lockbox.
Besides, if it were a mimic, I imagine it'd be quite a bit bigger.
This thing fits in like your hands. Both of your hands if you're holding it. It's kind of small.
I guess I'll have to just find. I guess we'll just have to find somebody to crack it open.
You mean it's roughly the size of your average child's jewelry box?
About. It's pretty small.
Yeah, so aren't theirs.
A locked lockbox, and no way to open it. Wonderful. At least not without smashing it to bits, which would probably destroy whatever's inside.
Dude, just like take a breath. Go for like hinges, man.
Eh, what the heck? I might not be the most skilled at this, but I may as well see if I can find something to pick open the lock.
Hey, Jack,
Yes,
still got your crowbar?
I do. Why? They find something down there?
Yeah, they got like a little lockbox, and they're struggling to comprehend.
Well, I have a crowbar. Brayman, you wouldn't happen to have a set of lockpicks on you, would you? I've been meaning to pick some up.
This kind of just looks at you. Do I look like I would know how to use that?
Doesn't mean you wouldn't have them.
No, I don't, unfortunately.
Unfortunate.
This is why you don't leave early.
Anyways, how did your finds go?
Well, quite a bit of gold, quite a bit of some particularly ornate dragon carvings into art pieces. Jack will produce one of them from his pack. A few of those. And, well, lots more of these things that you killed up here. I'm surprised that big one didn't explode.
No, what you see is a pile of ashes.
Ah,
Well, does a 15 manage to jimmy the lock open?
Nope.
Well,
So,
darn, and I've already burned out the bardic inspiration.
oh wait,
I would like to
man,
have.
you're a wizard. You have like. Oh,
Knock,
wait,
knock.
more
I
that.
haven't
Never
bothered to learn
mind.
that spell yet.
I don't know. Sorry,
Bremen,
man.
do you have knock?
No, I do not delve in the arcane arts like my mistress does. More dark powers, fortunately.
Right then. Well, might as well take a crack at it. And he takes out his naginata and goes to wedge it between.
Oh, he'll stop over. Bremen will stop over. It's like that. Look,
What about that
I don't
crowbar?
have
Would that
it.
work?
I don't have
yes.
knock.
We're going
As he
back to
points up.
see.
She does.
Oh,
Okay, I guess that
right.
works.
Well,
Also, seriously, your first inclination, once it wasn't magically solvable, was smash it open? Not just wait until we have someone who can open it?
very well.
Right? He will produce the scroll and opens another gnome-sized portal. You will see a bit of blood splatter through the portal as he kind of just looks down. Huh. Well, that's new. She just goes in and just crawls through the portal.
Oh. Hmm. Well, after someone a little hard here.
Oh, okay. I'm going right through.
The guy stoops
Simp
down
for
low enough
over.
to fit through the portal and walks through.
Right.
A blood splatter means doctoring.
As you guys
Yeah.
all go through, I would assume.
Bremen, wait.
Yeah, Jack will bring up the rear.
Bremen, hold on. I
What?
believe you just became Olo's newest patient.
No,
I don't think that was his blood.
No, it wasn't.
Oh. Are we sure?
It came
I'm
out of
sure.
the portal before he went in.
Oh. Well, that's not good.
Well, I guess I know which of my two new free spells I'm gonna be adding to my spell list once we finish this job and I've leveled up.
Where is it? There it is. As you guys appear onto this airship again, you will see from before, to some of you that remember, that same draconian that's dimension doored out is pelted with arrows. Very much bleeding.
Ah, lovely.
Where's this thing? As she kind of just kicks it. This thing just tried to dimension door up here. Twice.
Yeah, not sure how we knew you were up here, but he was down in the ruin with us initially.
We took
Weird.
care of everything else below. Bremen handled everything above.
Well, wonderful news.
We
I assume your
also
findings were. I assume you
Relatively
got some
lucrative.
lucrative.
And Jack will come over and produce another one of the amulets and hand it to her.
3 pieces of art, all of which with a dragon image on them, 500 gold pieces, and the lockbox that we need a little help getting open.
She left in the lockbox. Oh, certainly. Just hand over. I just to ask you guys to put down the treasures just so she can count it.
Of course. And Jack will fish out the third and put it all the stuff he took together.
Yep. She just closes the heads and counts it. She counts the 500 GP, the 3 objects in the lockbox, and a couple of pieces of art. Apparently. Just nods. You see her kind of just like knock on the airship a bit as you will hear a certain click come from the lockbox from her casting knock. Kind of just takes it to her lap and just peeks inside. Kind of just closes it immediately. Ugh. Yeah, no.
What is it?
You
That's
don't wanna.
gruesome, huh?
You don't wanna.
Oh, it
Kinda
can't be that
do.
bad.
She'll kind of just raise an eyebrow. She just like turn the lockbox to face you guys as she opens it. A bunch of like shadowy tentacles come out of it,
Oh man, what?
Huh.
and she immediately closes it afterward and casts Arcane Lock on it. Yep.
So basically a
Wow.
portal to some shadowy foe?
I have no idea, and I don't want to find out. She puts the lockbox to the side.
Agreed. Let's just find the near. Can we just put? Can we go back to the vault and just toss this thing in the lava?
No, I'd rather not have these things, as she kind of kicks this one again, have their hands on it. Just have it on hand for safekeeping.
Dangerous or not, it may still have its uses.
Starts on there.
You should find someone who can tell you what it is. At least that way you'll know what you're guarding.
Yep, I'll have to figure that out. But anyway,
Yeah.
she, as you can see
Yeah,
her
that's
counting
okay.
the coins.
Yeah, let's just say I'm currently in the market for a pearl for the identify spell.
As she will have some of her handmaidens come over with a couple of sacks of, or comfortable empty sacks, as she just counts the coins, and these handmaidens give each of you a sack of 65 GP.
Right.
Fair
Huh.
enough.
This is a bit on the light side.
Well, the possibility of death was increased from the other foes that were in the area, but Raymond kind of dealt with that.
Hmm. Fair.
And
Persuasion. Nah, I'm kidding.
yeah, that's gonna be that's gonna have to be someone else if someone wants to try to persuade
Let's see,
the
Eleanor just gets
employer.
up and just approaches over and just
Don't
looks at
look at
you up and down.
don't look at this dwarf. His proficiency is in intimidation, and that is more likely to backfire than anything.
Eleanor, that one's the echo.
Ah, that's the echo? Can't tell. They both look ugly.
Huh.
She goes to this one. She points at this one, this corpse, and just casts Disintegrate at it.
Is that supposed to impress me?
No. Bit of intimidation.
Huh. If I was
Oh.
one to be intimidated, the explosion down there would have done the trick.
I could cast a bigger one if you want.
And I imagine the airship would be fine for it as well. We will graciously accept this payment.
I shall kind of bow. Nevertheless, she
Agreed.
kind of just gets the remaining coins, just keeps it in a different sack. The only reason why I'm paying you for that is because I have limited funds. I'm saving up my own stuff, you know. Maintaining this ship isn't cheap.
Of
True
course.
enough. And if it's not too much trouble, do you think maybe if you can identify the origins of those pieces of art, you could let us know about it? No,
That's all right, I'll let you know what kind of information I will find.
Now, I have a question that I don't know if it ever got asked at the beginning of the session or not.
War
Uh,
Rider,
yeah, who's doing that?
Japer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that's one game.
Sweet.
Yep.
65 GP is the max I can give you. That's why.
I thought 80 was the max.
Is it 80? I keep forgetting.
It is.
Yeah,
Is it?
it's 80.
Fuck. Okay. Then you guys would get 80 GP each.
See, that's
I
why I
don't-
did the
Okay,
persuasion.
I remember it as being 65,
It
but then again, I took a
used to
6-month
be.
break.
It used to be like way back. It used to be like 60. I say way back, not that long ago.
I think
65.
65 is like the lowest you can go for tier 1 sessions.
65
That's
is the report for tier 2, and it's the
true.
It was
and it's the
originally.
only tier that those two numbers don't match. So
Yeah, it's weird. I hate it.
Well,
Anyway,
thank you.
65 was the max in tier 1 from when I remembered, and I keep
yeah, back when I
remembering
started,
so
it was
much.
too, and that wasn't that long ago.
It's 80, so there's 100 GP left over. Okay. Noted. Well, thanks for coming session.
Thanks
All
for
right.
that game.
In that case, Overk would not complain about the sack feeling a bit light because he was comparing it against prior missions.
Okay, then we'll retract that.
In any case,
Bit of a bumpy start, but yeah, I'm really glad everyone managed to come together. So we had a fun game tonight. Thank you for having it, Lean.
Thanks for coming.
Same.
It was definitely interesting, and oh boy, were we getting hosed with those bad rolls. All of us had trouble. Yikes!
Sergey, did you mention that you are a part of the scriptorium?
Yes, I am a member of the scriptorium. I
Cool.
joined a little while ago.
Yeah, there's enough of us now that I can never remember. If you need an identified pearl, Petros can handle that for you, especially if you're about to level up and you're willing to take some spells that we don't have yet.
Well, I already have the identify spell on my spell list. I just need the pearl for it, or the actual casting.
Yeah, Petros will absolutely get you a pearl, is what I'm saying. Just like
Pick out
he'll get,
spells that we don't have.
yeah, just pick spells that the house doesn't have yet, please, and he will make that happen.
Sure, I'll just need to check back at the list to see what we do have and what we don't have.
It is quite the list.
I has a question.
Sure.
Is the scriptorium like just magic stuff in general, or is it more specifically
Wizards.
geared towards wizards?
Wizard
It's wizards.
exclusive at this time.
That's
Well,
fine.
it
I was just curious as a
arcane
player.
spellcasters in general.
Yep. No, it's wizards. You need to be able to copy from one another, but with the wizard spell books and whatnot.
There was talk
Yeah,
of
that makes
making
sense.
Book of Ancient Secrets, warlocks, and ritual caster feat people allowed in. But the ultimate decision on that was no, because we already have almost all the rituals, and so adding them was just going to bloat our numbers.
Right.
Is there currently a guild where either a fighter or a bard would fit in?
I mean, Dragon Guard takes everyone. House DuPont, I think you have to be tier 2, but then otherwise they take everyone, and you have to pay like a fee to get in.
I know New World Order is still taking people, but I don't know what
Yeah,
they do.
New World Order takes people, but I think they are pretty much effectively just role play, whereas there's actual benefits to the other two.
You have a good night.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you. You
Take it
too.
easy.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Peace.